Look who's first. This amazing bean. Yep. Who's a good viewer? You are. Have a cookie. Re-Crix heart.
Hello! All you lovely, beautiful people doing fantastic as always. Welcome back in. Give me a sec. I'm actually trying to see if I can get this to work because it's being really finicky with its connection right now. Anyways, but how are you guys doing? Well, I'm trying to figure this out. I'm genuinely trying to figure out why this isn't working. Saw Lord of the Ring. Yeah, I heard that that was in theaters. I was playing with a friend today, and they brought it up, and I was just like, huh. And then I admitted I've never watched a single minute of Lord of the Rings or read the books. Like, I genuinely never don't know a damn thing about it. I know. Oh. Oh, that might be a problem. That'll certainly cause a problem. I wonder why there's not any power. Why isn't it working? Oh, corrosion. Yummy electronic frosting. Give me a moment. In other news, I've been cleaning. I've finally put some wall decorations back up. So, very happy about that. Alright. So you guys are going to learn a little bit about technology here tonight. Because we're going to teach you how to clean corrosion. If you have a corroded device, all you need is a Q-tip and hydrogen peroxide. Please do not use a baby wipe. It will not... Just don't use a baby wipe. Please don't. Okay, so I recommend that you take off the cap and just dip it in. So what you do is you angle it, dip it, go like this until you know it's touched. Now you have a dampened Q-tip, and what you do is you just go at the corrosion, and it literally just falls off. I shit you not. It just falls off so easily. Okay, and then now you're left with a cleaner surface that you can actually operate on. And you stick it back in. Make sure it's got some. And you go after the springs primarily. The springs are actually where the contacts are. You want to get the backs too. But if you don't get those springs, it can't establish a actual electronic charge. So. Also, you can use hydrogen peroxide to clean off sticker residue. So if you ever need to get sticker residue off something and don't have any goo gone, easy hack there. That and some soap. Alright. I think a toothbrush also works with hydrogen peroxide, but you have to understand that with a toothbrush, you can't use that as like anything else if you do that. You cannot use it as a normal cleaning toothbrush. Because, you know, people do use that. It is actually a really useful tool. But you literally, it's just not advisable. Like, if you have Q-tips, just use Q-tips. Okay. I think that's enough enough cleaning there, and then we just gotta do that and then clean the outside of the battery cover. It's all fallen off easily. Perfect. Now I just gotta find where I accidentally dropped the cap to the hydrogen peroxide. Got it. Okay. Now, if I did everything correctly, I should just have to grab 2 batteries, and we should be back in business. These containers are so fucking useful, dude. Anyways, what's going on with everyone else, though? Because some of you haven't answered how your day's been. And I wanna know how your day's been. They're so cute. Getting long needed sleep, as you should. You specifically have not been getting enough sleep, so the fact that you actually got the day off is really good. Never, ever remove these with this. If you ever need to, use a corner of a thing and do it from the non-spring end. And another way to test a battery, see if it works, is you drop it, and if it bounces a lot, then it heads out of charge. If it doesn't bounce, then it's still got charge in it. The brine salt is frozen. What the f... All right. Still snoring where you're at? Well, definitely stay as warm as you can. Now, the other thing we need to figure out is why isn't this powering on? Is this thing finally dead? Hopefully not. I got it to connect at some point. I just need to figure out what I did. Well, okay, let me actually check to see if it's actually, like, operating. I should have set this up before stream. But I just want to test this real quick to see if it even works, so... And if it doesn't, then we'll just do something else. Because I want to do something that's more for me before L finally comes, because once that happens, I'm gonna be booked for 2 weeks, and I'm not gonna be able to have much fun in terms of my own personal stuff. So I don't wanna deal with that. I'm gonna flip the bird. It doesn't look like that's corroded, but I'm gonna clean the contacts on this just in case. Fuck you! Okay. Oh, there we go. I had it! Uh-oh. It opened up fucking Steam's big fucking thing. It opened up Steam's big picture mode. No, stop, please! Ah! It's bugging the fuck out! No! Ah! Okay, please. Stop! No! It's magnified everything I can't see! I can't see. I can't see anything. It has magnified everything. Okay, I can see now. Can I get the fuck out of this screen? Holy shit. What the fuck? We really, I think, just need to get me a proper wheel at some point, but I need to fix the computer first. Tell this guy to fuck himself. No! Not again! Please! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop! No! Stop it! Leave me alone! Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Okay. Okay. No, no! Stop! No, it's opening up Windows Magnifier again! Please! How does this keep happening? Stop it! Stop! It's pressing something, and that whatever that something is acting like the PlayStation button. So I'm gonna quickly go through all of the buttons to ensure that nothing could conceivably be causing this. With One Gun Midnight Maximum Tune as a whole than the series itself. I don't know what you mean as a whole. My God. Connect! This shit is so finicky. Like the various songs in the games. Ah, gotcha. Okay, so you know just like the general stuff regarding it. Okay. Where is it pulling up the virtual keyboard? And it's okay. Stop. Okay, no. This thing's gone. This thing's gone. We're not. I will test one more thing about it. But first, can we figure out how the fuck to get it out of this? Okay, here we go. Magnifier, please stop. Why? You gotta find the sweet spot. I'm gonna find the sweet spot for this thing in the fucking garbage. The batteries weren't even on! Okay. I can't tell if it's connected. Printer. Okay. Yeah, printers and scanners. It's really bad. It is super bad. The struggles with you. Look, I'm sorry that half of my shit is secondhand, okay? What do you want from me? God, let me use it. It worked the last time we did. Why are we doing this now? Okay, It just connected as a PlayStation 3 controller. And it doesn't register. I think it's actually shot. Like, I think that's it. Oh well. Because I don't think it's the adapter. I genuinely do not believe it's the adapter, and I'm gonna test that theory real quick. I can test this theory in one very, very easy way. And I'm going to use it with another Mad Catz product. Okay? So this is actually one of the best PlayStation 2 controllers. This is a really good controller. I don't remember if this is the bugged one that I own, or if the other one's the bugged one that I own. I think this might be slightly bugged, but I think we should be fine in terms of testing it. It'd help if I put the fucking adapter on, right? I got this at a thrift store sold as is for like $5. It was a nice find. Like, let's just see this controller setup. Oh, it could be the adapter. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. I don't have enough energy to care. I'm pretty sure this thing is borked. So, fuck that thing. Am I allowed to drink hydrogen peroxide? Can I drink the H2O2? Am I allowed to yet? No? Damn. So close. So close. Soon. Alright. Well, I don't know what we're doing today. I honestly did not plan for shit. I was supposed to do a cleaning stream today. I've been cleaning for 3 hours and got this all organized and the back of my desk area cleared out, with the exception of like this, which I probably should toss over there. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Wow. I don't know what we're doing. Small PP, lol. Alright. No, not right now. It's a good song, not right now. I don't feel like listening to Sabrina Carpenter. Well, honestly, I didn't think I'd get this far. So I think what we're going to do today is something that we haven't done in a while. And that is a horror night. In terms of, like, videos. We haven't done a horror video night in ages. And I really want to do a horror video night. So that's what we're doing. I'm in a very big horror mood. I want to go spooky spook. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go spooky spook and spooky spook. I actually have a lot to show you guys that I've been meaning to. but I just haven't gotten around to it. I wish I could just have Windows keep a window over, and it doesn't do that. Yeah, no, I played the game yesterday. I was just gonna see if I can do it with a wheel this time. No, not today. So I'm gonna have to change the title one more time. Yeah, I know you were looking forward to racing stuff, Ross. If you should have been here yesterday. Would have been the best time to be here. Because I was playing it all night yesterday. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news there, but like... That deputy would it be? Okay, so let's get this all sorted. Give me one sec. I've got so much to show you guys. All right, so there is one thing I'm gonna have to do, and that is I'm gonna have to turn on the audio for the browser for media, or for stream and the VOD, because otherwise you're not gonna be able to see what's happening. So I'm gonna get you guys open on my phone so I can read chat, and we're gonna get this started. Even though I know like I'm 30 minutes behind. And we should have started 30 minutes ago, but hey, better late than never, I suppose. Yep, thanks for letting me know I have 4 people in my chat. Thanks, Twitch. Leave me the fuck alone. Alright. So, I need to figure out where we left off the last time we did this. Because there was a point in which we left off. And I don't remember what it was. I think it was this. And then I think we had a couple other things with there. So let me quickly do variety horror videos night. Horror variety watch party. Again, tonight was literally supposed to be a wing night anyway, so I'm not too upset about it all. But I just kind of wish that things were a bit more solid, I guess. Oh yeah, we already watched all of this. Why the fuck is this still on my list then? Get out of here. Okay, first thing is, you guys know the I'm Not a Human game that we played? So someone made an analog horror out of it. I don't know why, but someone did. So I'm kind of curious. I have been saving it. And I need to have, what's their face? Rat take a look at it. Because I know Rat's been really hyperfixated on this game. But let's give it a go, see what it's like. What? Why? Okay. Interesting that it dropped to 4, but okay. An emergency alert broadcast will begin shortly. Oh god, the heat map.
This is not a test. We interrupt this programming for an urgent bulletin from the National Weather Service.
What the hell?
After a month-long unprecedented heat wave, the sun's radiation levels are officially deemed lethal for unshielded, sustained daylight exposure. Residents must adhere to strict indoor protocols from dawn until dusk. The extreme rise in heat has coincided with the appearance of what FEMA is calling the visitors, entities rising from the ground. Experts suggest these are deceased human bodies reanimated by a rapidly spreading fungal virus acting as a host. Crucially, these entities appear unaffected by the sun's lethal rays.
That's an insane notion to think about. A zombie that can withstand like extreme heat, like death heat.
While appearing human, researchers have identified key early symptoms and signs for identifying these visitors. Here's FEMA with more information.
Okay.
So, are you alone? I just wanted to see if you would answer. Oh, my so.
Oh my god. Bunch of air at the bottom. So it's literally trying to use the in-game details to the highest extent. Do not trust FEMA. They are not here to help you. They came from nowhere. They are with them, the ones who look like us. FEMA wants you to stay weak, rot in your home, too tired to fight. If you disobey any order, they will kill you. FEMA is a trap. They want to contain you. The visitors are not the only threat. There is something else, bigger beneath, watching. You are not safe. They are lying. Look for the signs, the real signs, not theirs. Do not comply. They are waiting for you. Do not be alone. Pale man will come. Surround yourself with people, the real people. Their son is not. Pay no attention to what is behind you. I hate that. I hate that. You literally cannot just... You can't just add a knock sound effect and expect me to be okay with that. All right, come on, you visceral thing. I love my computer, by the way. That is actually wild. You know, I've been going through a lot of my older projects. I really want to get back into doing projects again. At least when I can find the time to. I think it would be... I think it would be nice to be able to do another, like, mini film again. It's been a while, but I think I could still pull it off, you know? Do we want to do the internet's darkest corners? Do we want to? Let's go with something that's a little more easy, I guess. Let's watch this. Yep. You know, I don't know why, but I am curious. What is the average rate of death for seizures? I don't think I've ever looked into that.
Discord.
Maybe that'll be another random research topic for a day. We'll see.
Easy like Sunday morning. Wow.
Creepypastas, essentially the bargain bin straight-to-DVD movies of the internet writing world. The difference being that unlike Sand Sharks, people can't get enough of our Jeff. No matter how terrible, many of these things have lasted decades of relevance. The genre is living proof of a creative ethos that I wholeheartedly believe in. No matter how god-awful the execution, if a concept is good, someone will take it warts and all and use it well. The format, thanks to the relative anonymity of a lot of its writers, lends itself extremely well to remixes and reworks. I think one of the reasons creepypastas have remained so persistently popular despite everything about them being essentially cripplingly outdated is the DIY, almost punk way that it's all produced and tossed about from creator to creator. And this extends well beyond the writing. The last few years have seen a massive resurgence in the genre thanks to it finally being around long enough to become everyone's favourite thing that they also hate more than anything. Creators and artists that were kept awake at night as children thanks to the likes of Eyeless Jack and That Dog That Won't Quit Grinning at Me have now honed their own skills in creating nightmarish, childhood-scarring content, taking heavy inspiration from the ancient texts. At this point, these stories are essentially internet folklore, the classic literature of the digital age, as in when you actually sit down and read them, a lot of them are kind of bad and the original writer is probably into kids or violently racist. There's a million different stories that this topic could cover. There's people who have carved entire careers out of taking a forgotten pasta and sprucing it up with a brand new sauce. It's something I could see myself returning to time and time again. But just for tonight, I want to focus on one particular trend that I found endlessly endearing, a piece that has wrought awe, outrage, and everything in between. But before we go ahead and get ahead of ourselves, we have to set the scene. It's 2023 and the internet horror scene is in the throes of analog horror mania. It exploded a year before, but we're now in the era of just before the fatigue sets in, when anyone and everyone is trying their hand at googling how to do a VHS filter, and right before Photoshop's liquify effect on a random face starts really pissing people off. During this, one particular running theme that's adopted is creating fake television hijackings, and amongst them, a little video with a very subtle title that's not on the nose at all, 06/06/2006 Nickelodeon hijacking incident, is uploaded. The video is very short and sweet, with the plot laid out being
Jesus
a
Christ.
basic Nickelodeon TV
That's
hijacking where the
so
SpongeBob
on the
episode
nose.
Something Smells was interrupted suddenly by what at first seems like a glitch before then transforming into this. A distorted screen of SpongeBob wailing in agony whilst endless flames burn behind him. We're shown a random low-quality image of a vista before the broadcast returns. And then we are treated to the text, "Steven, why would you murdered me? I thought we were husband and wife. Why did you kill me? Please tell me why." We are then treated to... So what the reveal is...
What the fuck?
Is that the hijacker of the broadcast is the deceased wife of beloved celebrated real-life person who actually existed but passed away tragically and creator of SpongeBob SquarePants, Steven Hillenburg. The point of the entire video is that the real-life famous and beloved public figure actually murdered his wife in cold blood, and the video ends with the words, "See you in hell, Steven Hillenburg." Yeah, suffice to say, this didn't go over well. People were rightfully angry at this disrespectful transformation of a beloved figure for the sake of a cheap thrills analog horror video, and it's a shame because the video is very well made. Up until the grand reveal, it feels incredibly authentic, so to waste that talent on something in such poor taste is genuinely disheartening. Also, don't worry, in real life, Karen Hillenburg is very much alive. As far as I can tell, her marriage was a very happy one, and Steven was not pure evil. Or a murderer. The video was shortly taken down after immense backlash, but the silver lining to all of it is that the video blew up as a result of its notoriety, and while we may never know for sure if there's a direct causation for what would come to follow, we do know that there's nowhere to go but up from here.
Oh, wait, so this is just a bunch of them together.
Around a month later, we got a creepypasta.
Wow, who would have fucking guessed?
Titled The Nickelodeon Resignation Incident, written by LaFonda Pasta. The story is a retelling of a supposed creepy hijacking that occurred
it's
on July
Sprite,
17th, 2009.
the most
during
snowflake of
Nickelodeon's attempt at an all-day
snowflakes,
night
who also
SpongeBob
happens to live in an
Sponge
area where
Marathon
snowflakes
celebrate
tend
the
to
Yellow
fall a
Cube's 10th
lot.
anniversary. And initially, it bears
And might
many
also be
similarities
shaped
to
like a
its notorious
snowflake.
older sibling. The general concept
not
of
a
a
cloud.
Nickelodeon hijacking, a big turning point in the story being a distorted, evil SpongeBob with sunken-in black bags under his eyes, and the ending culminating in text above a crude depiction of him. But where these two stories greatly differ is the intention and identity of the intruder. At first, during the marathon, all goes well, until the video feed begins to glitch and distort. Viewers from kids and adults alike would rewind and record certain bugs that occurred, such as
I'm so special and snowy. You are. You so are. You lumpy little
technical glitches, as one of the occurrences resulted in an on-screen graphic
lump
being
of
placed on
Play-Doh.
The graphic read,
That's the best thing I can come up with.
We are trying to fix it. We'll be back to normal as soon as we can. Sorry.
After seeming to fix the issues of their broadcast, things continue to only get worse the second day of
Hey,
the
welcome on in,
marathon.
AJ.
Over time, viewers
freezing
have
my
noticed
giblets,
very
but good.
strange, almost frightening
You're freezing your
occurrences
giblets.
Every 3 to 4 episodes.
Well, please
as
try
if
to
it
stay
were a
warm.
specific
Get a jacket if you
pattern
can.
set up by someone before they had aired.
My
The
personal
first
favorite thing to
instance
put
was
on,
started during the
so you can
episode
still
The
interact with
SquarePants
technology
or Not
around you,
SquarePants, on
is
a
fingerless
specific
gloves.
frame
They
during SpongeBob's
are a
face.
little
The
cliche,
screen
but they are
would
extremely
freeze
effective.
And complete silence could be heard. The frame would immediately cut to a heavily edited version. SpongeBob's facial expressions was swapped to a threateningly angry, out-of-character grin. His pupils were constricted, replaced with small dots completely devoid of iris color. His mouth was unnaturally wide and his teeth were tightly clenched. A distorted rumbling noise could be heard as the edited image was shown. These happenings continued at least 6 more times. These occurrences supposedly escalated in ferocity until the crescendo of the piece is reached. The broadcast fades to white while a crude depiction of SpongeBob fades into view, along with what reads like a manic, disjointed monologue playing out like a slideshow.
You are all so goddamn negative all the time. Day after day, hour after hour, you're always upset, expecting better. Think of the poor kids you brainwash with your festering attitudes. I'm ashamed to even be in the same room, no, the same planet as you are. Oh, you poor, poor baby, poor pitiful you, sad over the truth. You are an adult, acting like an infant, and it makes me sick. Fuck all of you. Fuck it all. You are the reason art is dead.
Once the last line of text appeared on screen, a loud yet poor quality recording would play of what sounded like a mental breakdown. The sounds consisted of a middle-aged man grunting and groaning, glass shattering, and assorted objects being smashed near the microphone. This would continue to last for around 20 seconds before cutting. It was soon revealed that these incidents were meant to be a sick joke, concocted by a disgruntled employee named Armand Raphael Ramsey. It was speculated that he planned to quit working for Nick, but wanted to show the viewers how he felt. Armand was restrained in the Nickelodeon corporate offices and arrested on July 19, 2009. He was soon charged with computer tampering, sentenced to 4 years of probation, and fined $2,000 for the signal intrusions. Alright, so I'm sure you could tell already, but this creepypasta isn't very good. For its short runtime, it's littered with plot inconsistencies. It's incredibly overwritten for what it is, yet despite that, the story ends so suddenly you don't even realize it's ending until you've accidentally scrolled to the comments. And the funniest part of all is this is the second draft. The original version of the story, first posted online, is gone, wiped by its creator. Very curious to see how that version read.
Update, I had a chat with LaFonda over Discord, and during that conversation I was sent the original draft of the resignation incident. I hold in my hands lost media. Reading over it, the
I
plot's
hold
exactly
in
the
my
same.
hands
The
lost
spelling was just
media.
worse, and it's even more overwritten.
I had this idea that Armand was so pissy at Nickelodeon, and he just wanted to get the message out already, so he kind of rushed through the hijacking, and he didn't even bother with his grammar, which is stupid. I don't know what I was thinking.
Oh, there's also an alternative version of the "You're the Reason Art is Dead" image, and it looks like this. So that's great.
But this is all to be expected. This is just another amongst the millions
I
of
do
Kids
find
Show
that
Had
funny.
a Creepy Moment stories
I
that
do
have
kind of find
littered
that
the
funny.
internet for years.
Also,
now.
how are
The
you doing,
creator
AJ?
themselves has come out in condemnation
kinda, like,
of the
say
story
hello
since,
when
only
you don't
leaving
say
this version
anything.
available for archival purposes. If you were to redo the story now, what would you do differently?
I'd probably portray SpongeBob as this kind of sort of wrinkly, sweaty fucking loser. Which is, you know, meant to represent Armand and what he thinks of himself staying here.
But for all its glaring flaws, there is potential here. The idea of a disgruntled, overworked Nickelodeon employee using the resources at their disposal to strike back at the company is, frankly,
The
stupidly
shittiest
good.
news.
The description
Oh,
of the distorted,
that's
hijacked
not
edition
good.
of
That would
SpongeBob,
make
if
sense
reined
why
in a
you're
bit,
here.
could really
Okay.
work. It allows the reader's
If you need to
imagination
talk about it,
run
my
wild
DMs are
with the
open as
idea,
always.
And this screenshot
But
of
in
the
the meantime,
supposed rant
please,
from Armand genuinely still goes
if I
hard
can
as
help
fuck to this
distract
day. I
you,
love
let
how
me
it
do so.
looks. If there was any story
Okay.
that would benefit greatly from a rework, it's this one. The potential was blazingly evident. So there it sat on the wiki, biding its time and waiting to have the light shined onto it that it rightfully deserved. And then
The Bash is a good
Resignation
one.
Incident remakes. For a short while, there was an endless amount of retakes and redos of Armand's personal spongy fight club, and the amount of ways that this initially simple plot was taken and reformed is staggering. My plan was originally to just cover all of them, but I soon discovered that this rabbit hole goes so deep that what was originally supposed to be a shorter little romp after the exhaustion that was the last one was quickly becoming the biggest, most bloated, and honestly boring thing that I'd ever written. So for the sake of brevity, I'm going to cover the two, I think, most accomplished versions, and then a snazzy little
I
conclusion at the
did,
end with some
but
more
look
things
after
I think are worth
stream. I got
noting.
you. I've got you.
So I'm going with this one first, as right away it shows
I
a
will take,
deliberate
like,
attempt
a
to
slight
handle the
sneak peek,
concepts
though.
at play with a level of production value and gravitas that the original story
Ah,
was
okay. I know what
begging
you're
for.
talking about. I
This was the
am
video that not
very
only
sorry.
introduced me to
Please,
the
again, let me
creepypasta as a whole,
try
but
to keep
the
you distracted as
entire
best I can,
genre
okay?
of Resignation remakes. Me and my buddy Jeff came across this at random
I'll
one
address
night
it
while I was
fully
over in Florida
after
visiting him,
stream.
and we had no context whatsoever, which led to one of the coolest viewing experiences I think I've ever had with a single YouTube video. And I'm being dead fucking serious. The video mostly plays beat for beat much like the original story, but with the framing device of being a fake video essay about the incident itself in-universe, which, outside of being deliciously meta, is a fresh direction to take this kind of tale. It echoes Crow 64 and how that whole story was initially delivered in such a well put together and unique way, taking the concepts laid out and fully exploring them with the depth they desperately needed, whilst along the way correcting the biggest plot hole in the original story. With the format of online video, instead of just being told that this creepy thing happened but there's no surviving evidence outside of this one screenshot, so you'll just have to trust me, we're actually shown the entire progression, with initial brief interruptions before the marathon even starts, with this segment featuring iCarly, which made me grin as wide as the Cheshire Cat when I first saw it, and all the way down the ever-spiraling mental health of our main man Armand as he lays out his grievances with the company that did him so wrong. And that's another point. One of my biggest problems with the original story is how little detail we're given on Armand and why he chose to do what he did, but in this, we're given the context. We're told about the poor working conditions, the ever-mounting stresses, the unrelenting nature of working for Nickelodeon during that time. The big moment of the story, Armand's big supervillain monologue, is shown in all its glory, and while it loses a bit of its effect from clearly being voiced by the same person that does the video essay narration, I really think just showing the text with no narration at all or using a text-to-speech would not only up the eerie factor but make more sense in-universe, as Armand is probably not trying to get arrested. It still leaps and bounds above the original writing.
You have turned life into a monument of greed!
Okay, that goes hard as fuck, I can't lie. You can really see the passion on the screen for this. It's an incredibly well put together piece of work that revels in the campiness of its source material. While I personally hold the opinion that the visuals in the second half lean too heavily into typical creepypasta soaked in hyper-realistic blood cliches, even those moments are displayed with such effort that while not being scary, it's so goddamn fun to watch. This whole thing is structured and paced like a thrill ride. I love it.
Not only do they visualize what happened.
Hold on. Which one was this one called? I kind of want to watch this one. Hold on. Hey, what's up, Bean? Also, seriously, which one is this one called?
Ever written, so for the sake of brevity, I'm going to cover the two, I think, most accomplished versions, and then a snazzy little conclusion at the end with some more things that I think are worth noting.
The SpongeBob Sponge Bash Disaster, the Nickelodeon Signal Attacks. Okay, by Mozzarella Stick. Is it linked in the description? It is not. Okay, so the SpongeBob Sponge Bash Disaster, Nickelodeon Signal Attacks. All right, let me search that. The SpongeBob Sponge Bash Attacks. We'll just put that in, and it should pop up. Mozzarella Stick. Okay, let's just see what this one's like. It's a 34-minute video. This is a reminder for everyone who just came in, by the way. Hello. This is a video remake of a shoddily written creepypasta based on the hype of analog horror. And it's a 34-minute video. This better be worth my fucking time. This better be worth it.
Nickelodeon, one of the most iconic and recognizable brands in television history. Known for its countless memorable shows, it was home to some of the most creative programming ever made. But above all, it's synonymous with its biggest hit, SpongeBob SquarePants. The show needs no introduction, as it only propelled Nickelodeon to greater heights.
Rest in peace,
but
Stephen
also,
Hillenburg.
ironically, became the catalyst for its decline. It all seemed so sudden, didn't it? After the 2000s, the channel lost its charm almost overnight.
Also, welcome on in, Delta.
What caused the creativity and magic behind the orange splat to disappear? Did the people at Nickelodeon stop caring? Were they simply burnt out? Well, the answer traces back to a single event, a marathon that went disastrously wrong, an event Nickelodeon would rather erase from history. But despite their attempts to bury it, the fallout lingered, tarnishing their reputation and marking a decline in the quality of their shows.
Searching for a world that doesn't exist. I don't believe I have, no.
In television history.
I'll put it on the list.
We're talking about none other than the ultimate SpongeBob Sponge Bash.
Okay, I like how this is presented so far.
On July 17th, Nickelodeon hosted a special event to celebrate the 10th anniversary of SpongeBob SquarePants. The marathon featured segments like Top 10 Picks, showcasing fan-favorite episodes, and Celebrity Favorites, where stars shared their favorite episodes.
41
like
minutes!
Who highlighted most of
Jesus
Bob
Christ.
Pants. And last but not least, the premiere of 12 brand new SpongeBob episodes, with the most anticipated and heavily promoted being To SquarePants or Not to SquarePants, which was also the first episode that launched the event and the first one to premiere out of all the other new episodes. With this insane marketing campaign, this marathon was designed to be Nickelodeon's biggest and most memorable celebration, a landmark event in the channel's history. However, something went wrong. And by wrong, I mean horribly wrong. And
But
while
it's
the event
all
did
good
soon
shit.
become one of Nickelodeon's most talked about events, it wasn't for the reasons
I'll take your
they
word
had
for
hoped.
it. Also, not much is vibing around. That's good.
Something
I think I already
deeply
addressed that,
troubling
but
was
just in case I
happening behind the
didn't.
scenes at the animation studio. As SpongeBob SquarePants skyrocketed
It's
in popularity
good to
ever
vibe.
since the early 2000s, the studio became consumed by an insatiable hunger for profit, profits that had to be made quickly, no matter the cost. And the ones who paid the price were the hardworking animators and staff. With SpongeBob's growing fame came swelling egos and unchecked arrogance among studio executives. By 2009, as the marathon approached, the relentless demand for more SpongeBob content translated into increasingly harsh working conditions. The atmosphere in the studio allegedly became unbearable. Employees described an environment where management was dismissive, deadlines that were just ridiculous, and staff that were overworked to the brink of exhaustion. The mental toll was immense, and the stress seeped into every frame of animation, part of the reason why the show's quality noticeably declined during this era. But this unsustainable cycle wouldn't and couldn't last forever. Enter Armand Raphael Ramsey. Armand joined Nickelodeon around 2003, and at first he was welcomed warmly by the staff and colleagues who would later become his friends. But as the years went by, the worsening attitude and toxic environment within the studio began to take a heavy toll on him. The relentless stress, the impossible deadlines, and the blatant disregard for the well-being of employees started to wear Armand down. His personality began to deteriorate. He became bitter, often wishing the worst
With
for
it,
those around him,
again, the
but
fact
even
that this is
realized
presented as an
he was
essay
wrong.
is actually kind of interesting.
Sleepless nights became the norm, and the overwhelming pressure even led to hallucinations. He could no longer endure it. The stress, the abuse, and the suffocating mantra of more SpongeBob echoing through every corner of the studio. To Armand, every employee had been reduced to nothing more than lifeless tools. Machines programmed to churn out profit, their voices silenced, their struggles ignored. Armand made a decision. Enough was enough. Together with a group of trusted friends he had met at the studio, Armand devised a plan for revenge. They knew the ultimate SpongeBob Sponge Bash would attract millions of eyes.
I also find it funny. It's like deliberately low quality
for their message.
in terms of like
Their goal was clear.
the way it's going about
Sabotage
it.
the marathon and expose the harsh reality behind the cheerful facade of the channel. They were determined to show the true face of Nickelodeon, no matter the consequences, for the whole world to see. On July 17, 2009, viewers tuned into Nickelodeon, eagerly awaiting the start of the ultimate SpongeBob Sponge Bash. Across forums and chat rooms, multiple Nickelodeon and SpongeBob fans gathered to share their excitement and expectations for what promised to be an historic
To
marathon.
Posture Jeff
But
the
as
Killer, right?
anticipation
It's a
built,
very long forum,
some
but it's
viewers
under 2.
began to notice something odd.
Jesus Christ. Yeah,
Something wasn't
I'd have
quite
to
right
add
with
that to the
Nickelodeon's
list of like
broadcast.
super long ones.
2 clips of these strange occurrences still exist. The iCarly and Dora the Explorer, respectively. The latter coming from a YouTube upload that, surprisingly, has never been taken down. But here's the thing.Ese glitches weren't technical issues. They were something far more deliberate, an intentional act of sabotage, and yet most viewers didn't caught on. Take a look at these 2 clips and see
Didn't
if the spot
caught
what's
on.
truly off about them.
Didn't caught on. That's great English. That's great. Fantastic. Amazing.
Island. On the boat.
Okay. I wonder what that text said, but I don't want to edit it in real time right now.
Is that supposed to happen? No.
I'm assuming that's the text from the previous one.
No, I don't. Back? Oh, yeah, sure. This is a pepperoni stick. Oh my god, I'm in trouble.
Look, we'd love to hang out and talk.
For a brief moment, a message flickered on the screen. It was nearly impossible to read, distorted by heavy glitches and, oddly enough, displayed backwards. Whether this was an accident or an intentional choice is unknown, though. But after careful analysis, the message was clear. They were warning Nickelodeon to cease the entire event, or else they were going to ruin the marathon with these signal intrusions. As seen in these clips, Nickelodeon's engineers acted swiftly, restoring normal programming in a matter of seconds. We don't know if they ever noticed this cryptic message, but if they did, they likely dismissed it. To them, it must have seemed like a minor hiccup, something easily wiped away and forgotten, perhaps assuming it was the work of pranksters attempting to interfere with their signal. But they were wrong. When the marathon finally began at 8:00 p.m., the real chaos was only just getting started. Thanks to the many SpongeBob fans who recorded the event live on VHS, DVD, or digital devices, nearly every strange occurrence from those 3 days of the marathon have been preserved. Recovering these recordings wasn't easy, but as of right now, we have access to most, if not all, of the anomalies that plagued
I still
the
find it
marathon.
really weird that
Most
Patrick the Pirate
importantly,
is
however,
literally just Tom
the
Kenny.
recording of the alleged resignation
I don't know
letter.
why, I just think it's
But
really
more on
funny.
that later. Each clip gets more disturbing than the last, escalating to points where Nickelodeon's engineers struggle to stop the intrusions, or, in some cases, couldn't stop them at all. Now, I'll play each recording that has been recovered and analyze them in detail where possible.
Pineapple Fever.
I see you even brought your dup nup.
Your dup nup.
Don't you mean?
Horrible storm!
You heard me. Panic is not advised, although it is.
Interesting.
Help me get these boards nailed.
Your Honor, Plankton got the secret formula.
This seems like a strange time to start decorating.
I finally got it! The Krabby Patty secret formula!
I don't know why, that's just really funny to me. How unfortunate, Nickelodeon. Not even your engineers can prevent us from speaking up. It is surprising how well you have threatened us and how much we have wanted to thank you, right? All of our chances have been wasted now, and so now, and all by the end of this. We would like a word with the audience.
We'll be right back with the greatest SpongeBob freakout.
That's what clearly caused this. Plankton won.
Yes! Yes! The Krabby Patty secret formula's mine!
I'm sorry, it's
Things
just, it's
began
really
to escalate
funny.
noticeably with these two clips. In the first clip, during an airing of the episode Pineapple Fever, the audio glitches out almost immediately.
F is for
and suddenly
fire
SpongeBob
that
and
burns
Patrick
down the whole
seemingly
town.
disappear.
U is for
Adding to the
uranium.
strangeness, the message at the
Bombs.
bottom of the screen
And
changes,
it's for
a
no
clear indication that the perpetrators
survivors.
have infiltrated Nickelodeon's
No,
system,
I went southern.
modifying the episode in text
I
on screen.
tried.
Eventually,
I tried.
the episode resumes as normal, but the moment left viewers unsettled. The second clip, however, is even more bizarre and far more targeted against Nickelodeon itself.
It's always a blast to do
What
playing
makes
this. It is kind of fun.
especially odd is the lack of a confirmed time frame. Interestingly, the footage begins with a technical difficulty screen. Multiple users claim it occurred around the start of Single Cell Anniversary, which aired at 9:15 p.m. and claimed they saw
It
a
sometimes
masked
even
mannequin
borders
staring
on
at the
Perfect
screen.
Cell.
Unfortunately,
You've said this in the
this
past.
means
I
that
don't
this clip
believe it,
isn't
and I don't know
complete
what he
because we
sounds
don't see
like.
what happened prior to this. Whatever the case, these clips were only a small taste of the chaos that was about to unfold.
Patty hype. Okay.
What's next? Secret milkshakes? Full-time French fries? Patty patties, Patty
Oh God. Oh God. This is super well done.
Forget my dumb idea. That's
Tough, you're smart, you are charming, but you are still. Look! Mustache!
What the fuck?
Okay, things got serious now. In the first clip, the scene from Patty Hype, where Mr. Krabs and Squidward laugh at SpongeBob, it suddenly transforms into something deeply unsettling. Mr. Krabs and Squidward appear soulless, while SpongeBob seems to be hyperventilating. As for the second clip, well, let's just say I won't be sleeping tonight. They really should have let this episode play out normally. It was already grotesque enough on its own. By this point, it's no wonder that online forums were buzzing with shock and confusion over what was unfolding. Little did they know, the situation was about to get worse.
The fucking hold on. You faked forum posts? What? Okay, let's breathe. Inside and out. What do you mean you faked a fucking forum post? How elaborate is this shit going to get? Holy shit. gonna hop off in case I need to go tomorrow. All right, please take it easy. Okay, Eve, rest well. What's the matter, Nick? We're just trying to share our perspective on you and your soulless cash con that you created with your living tools you call employees. Key to success, you say. Go ahead and keep trying to silence us, since it's the only way you'll be able to put an effort instead of going back to doing the... Okay, I didn't know what the rest of that said, but...
SpongeBob! Go, SpongeBob!
Finest eating establishment.
Ooh, that is not a well blended in cell. Okay. That looks so clean! It's the hash slinging slasher. Girls, the audience should know the horror people you really are behind closed doors. You ruin all of us. We are building up to your fallout. See, what a company would have done by this point is just shut down the broadcast permanently.
In the first clip, and yes, we couldn't even watch the SpongeBob movie peacefully, we see the emotional scene of SpongeBob and Patrick drying out, which suddenly takes a sinister turn. The entire setting erupts into flames, and a disturbing version of SpongeBob, devoid of eyes, appears, staring directly
It's a reference to the... I know. That episode ends with Nosferatu.
Basically claiming they work harder at silencing their employees instead of improving as a company, before abruptly returning to the movie. The second clip is, without question, one of the most infamous occurrences alongside the resignation letter. It's also the most violent. In this sequence, SpongeBob is depicted as completely unhinged, and the atmosphere is thick with tension and dread as he murders Squidward and Mr. Krabs. All shock value aside, it's evident that these two clips carry deeper meanings compared to the earlier ones. We'll delve into their significance later.
Once again, you and I
Sponge me, boy, please. Why do you have that scowl? Who is watching the cash register?
Hey, Gary.
There.
Did you know there's an official pop punk version of the Gary Come Home song? It's really funny. Also, how you doing, Tangerine? I'm honestly hanging in there, doing all right. No, I never expected you. I'm doing okay. That's good. We're just getting into a spooky mood before we have to start the horrors of the week. Also known as Monday. Whew. I think I just got chills. The only thing scarier than Monday? Taxes. Depends. Oh. Jesus.
The message here was crystal clear, as it also hints at the possible perpetrators behind this. Not only that, but it is also important to mention that most of the animation presented in this clip, as well as in the previous one, aren't taken from the show. There's no scene in SpongeBob that shows something even remotely close to SpongeBob with bloodshot eyes, clenching his hat, and looking this professionally made. Do these people work for the show? That question was about to be answered very soon, as we approach our last clip.
As if the rest of the text and dialogue didn't give that away.
Coffee with a chance of meatballs in 3D and IMAX 3D. Not yet ready.
It's time to celebrate the spongiest SpongeBob moments of all time.
We're talking about this! I fucking swear, I keep seeing a shadow. Light source behind me, it's weird. Fun is over. Nickelodeon has wasted all chances to listen, and now it's time for fun to know the audience know the truth. Good luck saving this marathon after this. Okay. Yeah, corporate greed and corruption. Yeah. But also the factor of like the specific nuance to how they refer to his employees as tools. You'll be hearing our voices even outside this building. Your time is over. Now sit down and listen.
Good morning, everyone. Please listen closely to this message as it is of the utmost importance. We are the party responsible for all the linked hijackings that have been occurring since the 17th of this month. But this is not an apology. We are not here to plead for forgiveness or reveal our identities. Instead, this is a reckoning. Nickelodeon has failed its creators. Your animation studio has turned into a place of exploitation. The very people who pour life and brains into your shows are treated like disposable cogs in your greed-driven machine. Overworked, discarded, and dehumanized without hesitation. You don't care about your employees' well-being. You don't care about their mental health, their dignity, or the passion they once brought to this industry. All you care about is meeting deadlines, holding profits, and pumping out mindless reruns of this hollow excuse of a show. Enough is enough. We refuse to sacrifice our lives to build your empire of mediocrity up any longer. You disgust me. Every one of you who perpetuates this toxic culture deserves to sit down, shut up, and listen for once as the truth comes crashing down around you. I've never been more ashamed to have worked for a company as renowned and as revolting as this. SpongeBob SquarePants has turned into a curse for every one of us forced to enjoy this unbearable and ultimately disgusting corporation. You turned every ounce of artistic meaning and charm from this show and all your other projects in the pursuit of fast cash. You have turned art into a monument of greed! Nickelodeon, your time is over. This isn't just my resignation, it's your wake-up call. Your company has become the worst example in the entire entertainment industry. Good luck surviving without us or even the trust of your audience. You'll need it. Farewell.
I swear that would be taken as a threat of arson.
Armand Raphael Ramsey resigned from Nickelodeon, but not without showing the viewers how he felt. That voice was Armand Ramsey himself, who was the mastermind behind these intrusions, and his words were a raw expression of the anger and exhaustion he had carried after years of enduring Nickelodeon's grueling environment. In his rant, he exposed the harsh realities of working at the company, lambasting the staff and revealing what he believed to be its deeply exploitative practices. The broadcast concluded with an unsettling animation of SpongeBob burning down the studio that had created him. The transmission froze on this haunting image for several minutes, leaving anyone unfortunate enough to tune in during this time with the silent and terrifying sight burned into their minds. While Nickelodeon eventually restored their signal, saving a broadcast is one thing. Repairing a tarnished reputation is quite another.
Order up, Squidward! Well, well, if it isn't SpongeBob Underpants.
The following message addresses the events that unfolded during what was intended to be our biggest celebration yet. From the deeply concerning signal intrusions to the serious accusations and allegations of employee mistreatment, we recognize the gravity of these issues and the impact they've had on our audience, our team, and everyone who trusts our brand. To our valued viewers, we extend our sincerest apologies. The unexpected interruptions disrupted not only your experience, but also the trust you've placed in us over the years. Despite our best efforts to deliver an event worthy of your support, we fell short, and for that,
They would not broadcast this. They would have this as like
equally important,
an interview
we must
thing.
address the allegations regarding employee mistreatment. We are actively
I don't like
investigating
this
these
part.
claims with the seriousness they deserve and are taking immediate steps to ensure accountability and meaningful change within our organization. However, we must also acknowledge that hijacking a broadcast signal was an irresponsible and unsafe way to voice these grievances. Such actions not only disrupted our programming, but also risked undermining the very message those involved were trying to convey. This moment serves as a turning point for us, a chance not just to apologize, but to commit to being better. Better for our audience, better for our employees, and better as a company. Thank you for your patience, your understanding, and your trust as we will work to rebuild it one step at a time.
Friday, August 7th.
That just doesn't feel right. Hey! Nice! Welcome on in! Hello, Raiders! I'm Re-Crix. I'm your local nerd on the internet as voice acting memes, likes to sing, and as your resident horror connoisseur. How's it going? How was stream? I saw you were playing some Jack 2. What's up? What's going on, everyone? Also, I finally got photos up. Look, I did it. It was good, though. I think I'm officially tired of Jack 2, so we're gonna move on to Donkey Kong. Yeah, I saw you finally got a Switch 2. So, good going on that. When do you think you're gonna start? Not the Poggers face. Not the Poggers face. We're gonna skip the FNAF 1 song. Thursday, 8 p.m. as scheduled. Hell yeah. Well, let me get you a shout out because I don't think I have any mods active right now. So give me one sec. I'm trying to use my phone instead of typing on my keyboard, which would probably be a lot easier, but you know what? Sometimes the easiest things are not the things that allow us to grow as people. There's a drop of wisdom for you. Boom. All right, let's get back into the video. Anyways, for those of you just tuning in, if you had a raid dash and whatnot, you're welcome to. But if those one of you, for those of you want to stay, we are doing a current horror marathon where we're taking internet horror and we're seeing what's the best of the best. And right now we're going through some different Nickelodeon fake hijackings, and this one's actually super good. So definitely stay in. Just insert me BLJ drop kicking something. That's not what a BLJ is. Those are two very separate actions.
Beloved TV channel, Nickelodeon. Famous worldwide for its iconic cartoons.
Oh god, you
like
couldn't even
SpongeBob
get someone to
SquarePants,
do like a
The Fairly Odd Parents,
believable
and many others,
news.
has found itself at the center of an escalating crisis. What started off as brief and puzzling intrusions has now spiraled into something much more concerning. The climax of this all was a message resembling a resignation letter delivered in a chilling final broadcast yesterday evening. The network has been facing ongoing stresses from staff members across the multiple departments, primary concerning working conditions, wages, and
Up into the end portion of this, like the extreme end portion, it has been fantastic.
27-year-old man, Armin Ramsey, who was confirmed to have worked at the company and is set to be the head of all this. One thing is clear. It's a wake-up call for the entire broadcasting industry.
The Ultimate SpongeBob Sponge Bash continued to air the remaining episodes as scheduled, though the signal attacks had already ceased.
Just like fast taps?
By this
Is that
point,
what that is?
it was clear that many within the
Probably.
company were far from pleased. If given the choice, they might have canceled the marathon altogether. In the remaining 15 hours, news of the hijackings and the chaos behind the scenes at Nickelodeon had already begun to spread. Ironically, the marketing campaign for the event backfired, drawing even more attention to the intrusions and making them the main reason why viewers tuned in. The marathon concluded with the final rerun of To SquarePants or Not to SquarePants, followed by a live apology from Nickelodeon's team in response to the escalating backlash and a flood of angry phone calls from parents. Needless to say, the event was a disaster. The so-called afterbash never happened, and Nickelodeon quickly distanced itself from anything related to the SpongeBob Sponge Bash, and so did the viewers of 2009. Everyone wanted to forget this catastrophe, and to hope that the world would move on. In retrospect, the Ultimate SpongeBob Sponge Bash went from
Okay. We're not going to watch the last 3 minutes of this. This is actually a lot better than I thought it would have been. I'm going to give it full credit on that. But okay, so what was the next part of this video?
An audience.
Snack break.
Ooh, snack break.
For today's snack break, I've decided to go with the Cheddar original recipe. Originally concocted by my boyfriend. Called the Cheap Bitch Mocha. To prepare it, all you'll need is instant hot chocolate, instant coffee, milk, and everybody's favorite hot water. Add in 1 to 2 teaspoons of coffee and then 1 heaped teaspoon of hot chocolate powder, maybe an extra half if you're feeling cheeky. And then of course add in your boiling water. Once that's done, give it a mix. Really mix the fuck out of it. Mix the shit out of it. Just keep going. Just
Okay, are we
don't
still
stop.
watching the
Then you can
same
add your
video?
milk and
Yeah, we are.
Stir it. Keep going. You don't stop. Keep going. And there you have it, a nice, tasty, delicious productivity enhancer. I have one of these every day, and I've been told that my liver will shut down in 3 months. Join me next time when I see the health benefits.
I've had one of these every day. What the fuck? The Resignation Incident documentary. Okay, what's this one like?
The Resignation Incident documentary immediately sets itself apart in style by playing out almost like a piece of true crime from the depths of YouTube's algorithm. No voice acting or cheese to enjoy here. We're treated to the most in-depth explanation of Nickelodeon's working environment and Armand's motivations through text for a solid 5 or so minutes while eerie music drones in the background.
It's definitely
It's
interesting.
pretty sensationalist, reading like the author was in the room with Armand, knowing his personal life to the point nobody making a YouTube video could possibly know. But honestly, it kind of works. People exploit real-life tragedies, spreading or even creating misinformation.
Well, that and they
farm
get in
views
touch
and
with
clips
people
with
they
real-life
probably
news
should have
stories
never
all the
had
time.
to,
Someone
ties
doing
with,
that for this in-universe makes a lot of sense. It really does feel like you've stumbled across some low-budget documentary from an alternate universe. The lack of voice acting paired with things like this supposed photo of Armand really works to unsettle the viewer. It's surprisingly effective. This version overall is far more grounded than the original story or Mozzarella's take. While that video is an insanely entertaining watch, sticking closer to the idea of Armand being an unhinged madman broadcasting his raging descent Ricardo Lopez style with interruptions that are as gore-heavy and visceral as possible, the documentary portrays Armand as someone exhausted, genuinely using the hijacking as a misguided attempt to tell the world about the abuse of himself and his peers. The glitches are more subtle, coming across as far more plausible, except for this part halfway through where it starts looking like a sin tragedy video. I'm not saying that this is the superior version or anything, not at all. I love both of these. It's just a different approach, and I think both excel at what they set out to do.
What I especially like about Rodrigo's version is how he makes Armand sound professional. He's just this grown man who is disgusted by the workplace's actions. Instead of art is dead, it's just Nick doesn't give a damn.
I think what really sells both of these is the audio design. Without the right audio, some of this stuff has the potential to just kind of fall flat, but with the nauseating soundscapes that play throughout, it complements what they're going for perfectly. You misspelled aggressive though, so 1 out of 10. Sorry, I don't make the rules. Also, why did you have to do voice acting for the evil monologue?
I swear. Okay, so I've known like English teachers to actually do that, where it's just like, you misspelled this one word, I immediately lost 10 points, you're just down a letter grade. It's like, what the fuck, dude? You kidding me? People are insane.
I won't reveal my identity, not now. That'll be for the authorities to figure out.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they'll never recognize a British accent amongst the American workers at Nickelodeon. There's no way your cover's blown, Armand. You're all good. It's fine. One of my favorite things about this one is that it also dips its toes into unfiction ever so slightly. At the end of the video, there's a link to a supposed webpage about Armand and his exploits, and it actually works. There's a full page here with a shitload of supplementary text, and I'm sorry, that's just so fucking cool. I don't care if you think I'm a baby having keys jingled in front of me. I also like that in this version, after his work is done, Armand just straight up vanishes, never to be seen again. Like, this man really gave it his all and nuked his entire life instead of getting therapy.
I too
this could have really
would
gone
nuke
for
my
hours.
entire
There's
life.
so many of these things, and they all do different things. I mainly just wanted to highlight how a trend like this, of taking a creepypasta which has potential at its core and turning it over to a community to play with and use to further their own creative aspirations, can result in some of the most interesting content out there. There's about 1 billion in one of these resignation incident videos, and
There's a
while
lot.
a lot of them are middling, outright bad even, I love to explore little microcosms like this, see how something so initially broad can be interpreted in so many different ways. Seeing all the different ways that people interpret Armand, his motivations, his temperament, if their version of the story wishes to paint him as a victim of industry or a madman lashing out for no good reason, it's such a treat to see a group form these kind of communal collages, all bouncing off each other and taking different ideas. Just to name drop some more standouts I enjoyed, the take by Ouija Alternate stands at an intimidating 40 minutes, but it has some really great moments at the beginning, when the intrusions first start. More so here than any others, you could really read how bitter and aggressive Armand is. He's relishing in the chaos he's creating, and later on the thing goes full-blown Mandela catalog with archival phone calls trying to suss out the perpetrator. It's incredibly charming. This version by Riley Watson really goes off in a different direction by depicting Armand as an escaped criminal who murdered his wife and child before the resignation incident occurred. This information being portrayed through fake news stories, which are so much fun to watch.
Tonight, a former Nickelodeon employee is shot dead in front of the studio after refusing to comply with local law enforcement. Now been identified as Armand Raphael Ramsey, was responsible for the tragic murder of his wife Maeve Schmidt and his daughter Alicia Ramsey. He proceeded to break into his former house that very night, where he then tied up his 2 victims and then set the house on fire, leaving them to die a slow, flesh-melting death.
See, you can do a SpongeBob dead wife plot without using real people. Then during the hijacking, Armand puts himself into the intrusions as a self-insert who kills SpongeBob and Patrick because he's just
The names of these videos
so
are always
fucking
so
cool.
funny. Sometimes, yeah.
Lastly, I want to mention this video by the Re-Switch team, which I liked a lot as it constantly hops around different formats and ways the hijackings were archived, which is not only creative visually, but it also has this moment where SpongeBob is called out by main characters from other Nickelodeon shows because they were cancelled and he wasn't. It's fucking hysterical. I love it so much. Overall, I just love any internet horror trend that seems to have a real sense of camaraderie between creators, and the Resignation retakes reek of community. I've put together a little playlist linked down below in the description with some of my favorite entries, and if you have the time, you should definitely check them out. Is there anything that you're working on at the moment, like writing-wise or content-wise, that you'd want to ask people to check out?
I have 2 stories I'd like to recommend. The first one is Con Vulture, and it does delve into some very heavy subject matter. And the second one is my rewrite of Dead Bart. A lot of friends of mine told me that it was so bad that it was either really hard to rewrite or like flat out impossible to fix.
Show this lot some love, you know? It's stuff like this that walks so that stuff like that can run. And then there's stuff like this. And don't even get me started on that. God. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, the SpongeBob something, the movie game?
I'm
yeah,
so
it's pretty
fucking
good, except for the driving levels. And don't try to 100% it because it's actually broken. You have to exploit glitches to beat some of the time trials. That one level with the shell is like designed like you gave a Dell desktop to a monkey with Parkinson's. Fuck that level. Good cutscenes though. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. I'm thinking a light 7. Where am I?
This went from like really good horror analysis to Madman's socioeconomic breakdown. Jesus Christ. Okay, we're gonna watch Deep Dive into FNAF Ransomware, and then but first I gotta go take a piss. So music, cool, that's great, that's awesome. I'm gonna go BRB. I'll be right back. Where are the... Yeah. Bob. I need you to put on... That was the straightest thing I've ever done as a bisexual! Jesus Christ, I've never actually looked at Donkey Kong's ass. Get this! Let's go, baby! Let's go! Let's go! Woo! I swear, Xander, I will.
God fucking damn it. How the hell am I supposed to go anywhere now?
You gotta steal a car now?
I guess I am going to have to steal a car.
Oh!
Piece of shit.
What is this problem? living sentient plants.
Okay, you made me think something very horrible, and I'm going to share it.
Hey, don't kill the messenger. I've done nothing wrong.
So Deku, right?
Yes.
That's a big hole in his front, isn't it?
No! George, why?
You did this.
I didn't.
This is your fault. This is your fault.
Oh no! As if today were awful enough. Oh hey, little dude. You know, help this guy. Okay, I have returned. If I can get my glasses on. All right. So there is one more thing we're gonna do before we get started with the next video, okay? And that is a food review. So join me as we try another random snack from the bag of terror, except I've already selected it out. And so here it is. We have Lay's Wavy Loaded Nachos. Now this is expired. This was a part of the NFL promo that they did last year. But I still reserved it. It should still be pretty good. It's only maybe a month old past expiration, and these things usually last a little bit longer anyways, like about 6 months, I want to say. 3 to 6 months. Always be careful about it, especially if you think that something's wrong with expired food. Please do not consume it. With that health warning out of the way, we're gonna open it up and give it a whiff. So let's give it a sniff test. You can smell the fact that it has this, it's not quite jalapeno, but this, it has like a cilantro smell to it. Okay. Well, that's what they look like. It's your standardized chip. Like, most of them don't tend to go out of, like, browns and oranges, so. Bon appetit. Hold on. I lied. Ooh. There is a bit of jalapeno on that. Like, there's actually a really nice back kick, and it has a bit of spice to it. It is like an actual nacho, but just as a chip. I actually really like these. It is a shame that this was a limited time flavor. This should be a permanent flavor. Are you kidding me? It's like really good. Like, it's not something that you can't snack on. Like, the flavor isn't that potent, but it's not weak either. It's something that you can, every time you bite it, you taste the chip. It's a different flavoring. So I really like this. I would say I'm gonna give this I'll go 8.5 out of 10. This is 100% in the snacking range, and I would want to snack on a massive bag of these. Yeah, good. Alright, swap back over, and let's get started with the next video. Alright, so FNAF Ransomware. Let's do this. This is an hour and a half long. But I want to get this done and over with. So this might be the last video of the night. It might not be. It depends on how I'm feeling after this, but we'll see.
This is FNAF Ransomware, one of FNAF's most popular and scary trends ever made. But what even is it? Is it even real? And how did we get here? Well, if you're brand new to the FNAF franchise, or if you know everything about it, FNAF Ransomware is a completely different and unique rabbit hole that not many people know what it's actually about. So that's why I'm going to explain and go over everything there is to know about this mysterious trend, like why it blew up, why it is and isn't scary, and most importantly, why it is completely different compared to most other FNAF trends from the past, along with so much more. And in order to do this, we'll be taking a look at 15 different pieces of FNAF Ransomware related media, such as FNAF Ransomware videos and so much more. So if you need something to put on in the background while you work, or if you want to take a look at some of FNAF's scariest fan-made content ever made, then this is the perfect video for you. But with all that out of the way, now I have to ask the question, what is FNAF Ransomware? FNAF Ransomware is a subgenre of digital horror, which contains supposed gameplay footage of fake, pirated, and or hacked versions of FNAF games. The idea of FNAF Ransomware most likely originated from the FNAF 2 Stingray virus, which has gained popularity over the past year for being a supposedly real virus that would disguise as an old FNAF 2 mobile port that would hack your phone after being played. However, the video that inspired the trend that we know it as today is titled Five Nights at Freddy's Seas, also known as FNAF 1 Ransomware, which after posting got extremely popular for the disturbing imagery seen and the overall surrealism the video portrayed. The video starts out like a normal early 2010s YouTube/forum post video, with the uploader using the notepad to communicate to the audience about what the video is going to be about. In the background, we can see the computer is running on Windows 7, and we can also hear and see that the uploader is running a YouTube video of the Nine Cats song for background music. All of these things combine to develop a sense of nostalgia, along with world building and a way to immerse the viewer into the video, and most importantly, into the horror. But I'll get back to that in a moment. As the video continues, the uploader says they have found a free version of FNAF 1, and that they will be playing it for the video. So after that introduction, they click on the free version, and this is what they see.
And loud. Hold on, does it just say and loud? Lights, jump scares, loud, and loud. I love that. The most terrifying thing to known ever to mankind, just loud. It's great. Loud. I'm actually, for the sake of knowing that there's something's gonna actually blast out of the thing, I'm gonna drop the volume a bit.
From the moment the uploader started the game, weird imagery, sounds, and other things can immediately be seen in the game. From the weird yellow-eyed Freddy, main menu screen, gameplay, and etc., there is something wrong with this game. Your gut is telling you this isn't right. This isn't what FNAF 1 looks like. Even if you've never played the game before, you know that the uploader shouldn't be playing this game. But there is nothing you can do except watch in horror as the video continues. And as the video does continue, you can see that the office is blurry and pixelated, and that the textures seem to have been corrupted and or replaced in a haphazardous way to make them lose quality. But then when the camera opens, the same thing can be said, as the camera buttons do not work, the textures are all messed up, and Freddy looks completely different. But when the cameras are closed, we can notice that the office is getting darker and darker, until out of nowhere, we get jump scared by the same yellow-eyed Freddy from the opening screen.
Which,
After the
it's
jump
such
scare,
a poor
the
fucking
game
edit,
flashes four
but-
messages on screen, with the first one saying this: "Hey now, the game has paid version. Now we show you. Free download link Bitcoin." And then after that, this message appears. 966. The man who saves, he most in common, shows, he most gratitude in heart, and he show the duty untruth in heart. 7x Porg. And then this message appears. Take the time you have now. love forever. And then finally this one appears, Leviticus 6:38, do what you must, only you can make it life now. Then after those messages appear, the uploader's computer can be seen on the home screen before shutting down. One thing to mention about these messages, specifically the Bible quotes, is that these are not real, at least in the terms of what is actually said in the Bible, as these are inaccurate and are not what is actually said. These themes of religion are something we'll go over in the next part of this video, but I wanted to bring this up as this isn't a one-off thing. Anyways, shortly afterwards, we can see
my
the
baby
computer
is yelling at
booting
me.
again, but when doing so, it looks distorted and sounds broken. But when the computer finally boots, this is what is seen.
You violated law.
This is the ransomware screen, where we can see another distorted version of Freddy along with various text boxes saying things along the lines of, you have violated law, stealing from our friends are not allowed, and to get back your files, please send 1 Bitcoin to the wallet below. All while a bright red 1 hour remain line of text flashes on the bottom of the screen. So after the screen stays up for a little bit, the video comes to an end. And then with that, that's the first official FNAF ransomware video. This is the overall format these ransomware videos follow, or at least the overall concept of them. Each and almost every ransomware video follows the uploader's gameplay / screen footage of them playing an off-brand version of a FNAF port they find online. And as the video continues, more unsettling things begin to occur in said games the uploader is
Except
playing.
nothing about
Some
that
videos
first one
don't
was
follow this
unsettling.
Exact format as
But
you'll
okay.
see later, with some just being creepy videos following the style of FNAF ransomware, with that including surreal imagery and a overall off-putting vibe along with other things. But that combined with some other things seen in these videos also help flesh out the type of horror some of these videos try to tap into, like Five Nights at Freddy's CDs, as in this video we are transported back.
Well, let me be real. I don't think this is a good thing to watch. So I will save this for later because this just doesn't scratch that itch. It doesn't. You know what? We're gonna do the Nick Crowley video. Because I said so.
One location of your emergency. Okay, what's going on?
Alright, this is what's happened.
It's the 7th of November, 2014. 45-year-old Joseph Parker dials 911 at 2:45 in the morning to report an urgent incident that had taken place inside his home in Springville, Tennessee. An incident that had been solely his own doing.
I've been married 12 years. On the 4th, which would have been 2 nights ago at 4 a.m., I shot my wife in the temple of her head. I thought I killed her. And I put her in the freezer out in the garage.
It happened on him and his wife Samantha's 12th wedding anniversary.
Jesus
a day
Christ.
that should have been a celebration, but instead had somehow ended in Joseph shooting Samantha at point-blank range, before proceeding to put her body inside their garage freezer. An awful crime that Joseph was now confessing to a 911 operator. But this confession wasn't the real reason for his call, as Joseph likely would have been content without ever reporting his own crime, had it not been for the fact that hours prior, he noticed something unusual.
In the garage, when I checked on her tonight, and she's not dead. She's got a big hole in the temple of her head, and to get her body moved around in there, I think I broke her wrist. You know, she was frozen from being in the thing. She'd been in this thing 48 hours now.
According to Joseph, Samantha was still alive, despite having a large hole in her head and spending so long in their freezer that she was seemingly frozen solid. When he checked on her that morning, he realized that she wasn't actually dead and was even still conscious. The scenario Joseph was describing should have been impossible, with it being so outlandish that Joseph felt the need to tell the operator that this wasn't a prank.
This is no prank call. I need somebody to get out there and help her. but I promise you this is a legit call, and I need somebody to get out there and help her, because I still love her. It's hard to believe that after that, you know, but I love her. I still love her. You know, I've loved her every day I've been married to her. She's had a rough stretch here.
He was being serious, and all he wanted to do now was get Samantha help, as he claimed to still love her despite everything he had done. And help couldn't come quickly, as Joseph went into greater detail about just how bad Samantha's condition was, and how he was able to determine she was alive in the first place.
She's been frozen for 2 days. She's frozen solid. It's amazing she's still alive. She couldn't talk, couldn't move her jaw. She's in bad shape. She's a mess. She can't talk. I could get her to blink once, blink yes, blink twice, blink no.
Despite being unable to speak or move, Samantha was still blinking, and was actually blinking in response to questions Joseph was asking her, once for yes and twice for no. And in a moment of what appears to be a regret for what he had done, he tried to make things better by giving her blankets and pouring water in her mouth.
Yeah, she's still in the garage. I made her as comfortable as I can make her. She tries to drink a little water.
These responses led to a lengthy one-sided conversation that ended with Joseph vowing to get her help, which he was attempting to do now as he drove miles away, clearing the scene for authorities and paramedics to save her, while calling 911 and explaining the surreal scenario.
What the fuck, man?
Domestic
Hang on.
You know, we've never had to call police and nothing. We just had a real bad night a couple of nights ago. And waving the gun around. Got myself in trouble.
The two had a happy and healthy marriage that, for whatever reason, had turned sour on their anniversary, in what he referred to as a real bad night, where something in Joseph had snapped. But despite admitting to the murder, he made it clear that he had no intention of going to prison. He just wanted to make sure that Samantha was saved.
Don't want to get arrested tonight and all that.
Telling the operator that they'll find her in the freezer, before ending the call shortly after.
You know, there's the garage. You can't yell for you. You can't yell. But you go to the garage, and that's where you'll see her once you get to the garage.
Sure enough, when authorities entered Joseph and Samantha's home and ventured into the garage, they would see Samantha's red hair flowing out from the side of the freezer, and inside, they would find Samantha herself, frozen completely solid with a gunshot wound to her head, in the same exact manner that Joseph had described. But other than this, it was clear that Joseph's retelling of events was flawed, to say the least, as Samantha hadn't just been placed inside the freezer. She had been jammed inside of it, as if he was desperate to get her to fit inside. So much so that he actually sawed off her left leg, along with making a series of other cuts to her body to get her to fit. And this wasn't even the most damning revelation, with the most important having to do with Samantha's condition. Just by looking at her, it was clear to the first responders that Samantha was dead, and had been dead for days, likely having been killed instantly by the gunshot, meaning that the blinking Joseph had witnessed was entirely hallucinated. It never could have happened. And yet, that was his reality, and he fully believed it. Upon the discovery, Joseph quickly became the #1 most wanted man in Tennessee, and that same day, police would track down his vehicle as he appeared to have been trying to flee the state. But the officers got to him first, pulling him over and then surrounding his vehicle, drawing their guns and preparing for anything. But just as Joseph had said on the phone, he had no interest in going to jail, and that was something he was dead serious about. When officers finally got his car door opened, they would find Joseph Parker in the driver's seat, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. His death made it impossible to fully confirm why he had taken Samantha's life that night, but reports seemed to indicate that he had recently lost his job, and the couple was experiencing financial hardships, putting their home in danger of foreclosure, with this perhaps being the reason the two were arguing on their anniversary. But reports also indicate that this murder didn't happen in the midst of the fight, as evidence points to Samantha having been asleep at the time she was shot, adding some uncertainty to how the situation truly did unfold. But one noteworthy discovery made after the fact was that at the time of his death, Joseph had drugs in his system, which could have been a factor in the murder itself, and it certainly was a factor in the hallucinations he was seeing afterwards, as he stood in his garage having full conversation with the frozen, mutilated corpse of the woman he had just killed, all the while truly believing it was all real, with this 911 call leaving a haunting impression on myself and the many others who have stumbled across it in the internet's darkest corners.
Breaking news now, this out of Brandon, where a husband is being incredible.
Fucking insane, dude. Holy shit. People are nuts. Meow? You agree? Are people crazy? Yeah?
Do you ever feel like you're being watched? Well, considering that you're online watching this video right now, there's a good chance that you are.
Oh my
Your
god.
internet provider can see and log everything you do.
This
online.
is why
Not
we
only are
trust
they watching what you browse, but here in
NordVPN!
the US, ISPs can legally collect and sell all of your browsing history. Probably.
Meow?
Jennifer Sheffield's life was largely encapsulated by the posts she made on social media. She worked hard studying in medical school with the hope of becoming a doctor, a journey that she documented on her growing TikTok page. But when she wasn't at school or at a hospital, her time was spent with her family. She had been married to a man named Brandon Sheffield for around a decade, and when they met, Brandon already had 2 children from a separate relationship. Though this didn't deter her in any way, and instead she took on the responsibility of helping to care for them, raising the children alongside Brandon as if they were her own
What
for much
happened?
of their lives, to the point where they seemingly started referring to her as their mother, a role that she thrived in, as she frequently posted pictures and videos alongside them. And the same was also true for her being a wife, as she loved to share her memories and moments with Brandon, cultivating this image of the perfect family and the perfect pair. But on social media, things are rarely ever as they seem. And on the 10th of December 2024, Jennifer would drop a bombshell on her followers.
So, about to be a newly single mom, and I am in the middle of a divorce. My husband is being incredible though, like really and truly, like we're working together, everything's great, we're splitting everything down the middle, like, you know, everything is good.
After approximately 10 years of marriage, Jennifer announced that she and Brandon were getting a divorce. There was no explanation for why, just the simple fact that they were separated and had already started the divorce process, something that was reiterated by both of their Facebook relationship statuses as they shifted to single around the same time. Despite the sad and even shocking news, it was clear that they were handling it better than most.
Okay.
There didn't appear to be any resentment between them, as Jennifer described Brandon as having been incredible throughout the process, supporting her in any way possible, which was obviously good not only for them, but for their children, who were top of mind for the pair.
It is a very civil divorce with our daughter in mind, and I really appreciate that. However, you know, I'm going to be a mom, single income right now, and he will be helping with her. He will be supporting her, you know, so essentially, like, I'm really thankful for that, and that I will not have to worry so much about supporting her.
It was apparent that there was some kind of custody split being discussed between them, which isn't really made fully clear in the video. But what was clear was how grateful Jennifer was for Brandon's support. But even with this help, this marked the first time in Jennifer's adult life that she was really on her own.
I've never done this before. I've never been on my own before. So, yeah, if you just have any tips, like, I would really appreciate it, because, like, I'm a little scared right now.
It was uncharted territory and something that she was understandably nervous about. But despite her fears, Jennifer maintained an optimistic attitude. And thankfully at this point, the divorce itself was going about as well as it could be. They were both supportive of each other, they were both thinking of the children, and there seemed to be no bad blood between them. Though, as I said before,
good.
On social media, things are rarely as they seem.
So what happened?
We have more breaking news now. This out of Brandon, where a husband and wife are dead following a murder. According to Brandon police, the couple was found on Tulane Street this morning after family conducted a welfare check on 30-year-old Jennifer Sheffield.
Yeah, that's...
18 days after posting this video, praising Brandon Sheffield for the incredible way he had been handling their divorce, both Jennifer and Brandon would be found dead inside their Mississippi home. That morning, family members arrived at the house to perform a welfare check, but noted signs of foul play outside, leading to them calling the police. Inside, officers discovered the pair lying next to each other. Each had a single gunshot wound to the head, with one thing being blatantly obvious. Brandon Sheffield had been the one to pull the trigger both times, shooting Jennifer before turning the gun on himself. What happened that night isn't fully understood, but the motive is fairly clear. This was likely the result of the divorce that Brandon had supposedly been handling so well, though obviously there seemed to be more going on behind the scenes. Perhaps the violence was spurred on by the holiday season and Brandon's realization that this would be their last as a married couple. Or perhaps he just wanted Jennifer all to himself. And if he couldn't have her, no one could. Since her murder, Jennifer's video has become a morbid piece of internet history, and just seeing how full of hope she was is heartbreaking in hindsight. And because of Brandon's actions, not only was Jennifer robbed of her future, but these children were robbed of their mother figure and their father figure all in one night. And making this even more devastating, some articles have claimed that one of these children was actually in the house during the shootings. What Brandon did was nothing short of evil, but surprisingly, not everyone has seen it this way, as the discourse around this case has somehow led to people actually sympathizing with him, and even blaming Jennifer for her own murder. Sadly, this is just a fraction of the disrespect that Jennifer has faced since her death, as there have been numerous other online controversies surrounding her and her family. Though for the sake of this video, I don't want these to distract from the very real story and the very real victim at its core. A young woman who will now never get to experience the future that she was so hopeful for.
I had this feeling this morning for some reason to tell you that it's gonna be okay. You still have a purpose. You've got to keep pushing. You still have a heartbeat. And that means that you've got to keep going.
It was unlike anything she had posted
People are
before.
insane, man.
Throughout 31
Yeah,
years,
I'm with you, Obsidian. I'm right there with you.
Followers have been accustomed to seeing posts of her children, various religious texts.
Oh, so how are you doing,
media from her
Obsidian?
day-to-day
Well, come on
life.
in.
But on
How's
June
it going?
14th, 2017, Rania would begin her very first live stream, and it was clear from the start that something had gone terribly wrong.
Okay, don't open the front door. You're gonna bring the smoke in. Okay. You're not gonna be able to breathe. Your children scared maybe someone outside. They're in the other flat. Are you sure? They've gone into the other flat.
The footage is from Rania's perspective, as she and another woman discuss what lies behind the front door of the apartment unit they were in. The woman, believed to be 33-year-old Isra Ibrahim, told her not to open the door as it would let the smoke in, while Rania insisted that people might still be out there and in danger, eventually leading to her peeking outside, and in turn giving us a glimpse inside their nightmare situation.
There's too much smoke in there. Okay. Okay, I'm not opening it.
Doing well. I just got a call slur after winning a game. I told him yes, I am, and proud of it. Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure I know what slur you got called, but either way, sorry that happened. But yeah.
The door opens for just a
Good
split
on you
second,
for not letting
revealing
it
a thick
completely,
layer of
like,
black
devastate
smoke,
you.
the loud ringing of fire alarms, and someone pounding on a door. Rania eventually calls out to whoever was knocking outside, beckoning them towards her.
Hello, come here. Come here. Hello. Hello. Come. Quick.
To which 57-year-old Gary Monders emerges from the smog, completely covered in ash. It was a dramatic scene, and one that you can start to piece together based on the footage alone, as it was clear that there was a fire raging inside that apartment complex.
No, hold on. If there was a fire, then why would... Huh?
Had been filled with smoke that essentially trapped her and a few others inside this flat. Given the sheer amount of smoke in that hallway, it was obvious why the others in the room insisted on keeping that door closed. But Rania continued to hit back on this, as she didn't want anyone to be stuck out there alone.
Come in. You gotta... Look, because the smoke is coming. But the people outside. Yeah, let them... Hello? Close the door. Hello? Okay, I'm going out. Hello?
Yeah, if there was a fire, why aren't people leaving? Yeah, it's weird that they...
Before eventually conceding and closing the door for good. It was obvious that the situation was dire, but just how dire wasn't revealed until Rania made her way over to the window.
Okay, I'm not going, okay.
I never let the toxic FPS game get to me. Are you talking about Overwatch? Is it Overwatch?
They were 23 stories in the air, in
Oh.
the highest floor of the Grenfell Tower, located in North Kensington, London, England, where Rania and hundreds of others lived. And now, somewhere in that high-rise
Splitgate
was a growing fire.
Isn't that the Valve FPS game?
احنا في آخر دور هو اللي لسه ما ولعش يا ربنا يستر إن شاء الله. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم.
As she looks out the window, Rania tells her viewers that she believes the fire had started from the bottom of the structure and was quickly working its way up to them, with it now being just one floor below them. But officially, this wasn't the story that Rania and the others in the room were being told, as each time they would dial 999, the operators would tell them that the fire was generally contained and leave them with one clear instruction: stay put. This was the name of a nationwide rescue policy for all high-rise fires that stated that people should stay in their flats and wait for rescue as opposed to trying to escape on their own, as buildings like these were made from thick concrete and should hypothetically keep fires relatively contained in the flat that they started in for an estimated time period of around 2 hours. And considering that this fire had started roughly 1 hour before Ranya's stream, they should have been relatively safe until rescue crews got to them. And when looking outside, the fire wasn't even noticeable, meaning it was possible it was still contained and had simply been producing a lot of smoke. But that belief was far too optimistic for reality.
Fire brigade? Yeah, hello, hi, in the fire, flat 16 Greenfield Tower. Sorry, fire where? Flat 16 Greenfield Tower. It's the 4th floor. Right, okay. Quick. They're on the way already.
Oh no.
Approximately 1 hour earlier, on the 4th floor of the tower, a man called 911 to report that his freezer had caught fire. It was an incident that had happened through no fault of his own, and due to his quick phone call, firefighters would arrive on the scene within minutes, one of whom was wearing a camera that showed that
Nope, it's Halo plus Portals. It's a got shut down because the devs wanted to make a better sequel. Main event loader has to make first person great, and that certainly set people up with that hat.
The camera using thermal
yeah,
imaging
using that slogan is going to not usually be a good idea, but like
items strewn about that were still at relatively high temperatures. But other than that, the room was completely clear,
but like,
and it seemed
why would they shut it down?
Until the camera
That's
panned
weird.
to the window. Revealing scorching hot droplets of debris falling from the outside like molten rain. The fire had spread above them and was now burning up the side of the building in a manner that was completely unprecedented and defied any sort of logic based on the firefighters' knowledge of the scene. And by the time they even realized what was happening, things were already out of hand.
Money, yeah. Oh my god.
The fire was huge, and within just that first hour, nearly the entire building was engulfed in flames. And Rania was now trapped on the tallest floor, opposite to where the fire was raging. And she wasn't alone. Not only were there over 100 people left in the building at this time, but 2 of them were Rania's own children. 4-year-old Fethia and 3-year-old Tanya, who were stuck in the same flat as their mother and several others. With desperation mounting, some of the others called out the window for help.
On the 23rd floor! Hello! مكان في لندن فين؟ There's too many people stuck upstairs!
Until the stream went dark roughly 6 minutes later.
Close these windows because the smoke can go to the...
Despite things looking grim for the group on the 23rd floor, there was still some optimism about their rescue, as even 30 minutes after the stream had ended, those in the group were told once again by 999 operators to stay put, with the operator even telling them that the fire was contained to the 4th floor, which clearly wasn't the case. Ranya's sister later spoke to the media about a phone call that they had shared around the same time, where she begged Rania to try and leave, recalling, "She did not. She respected and trusted and believed that they are coming to rescue them." And by this point, there were hundreds of rescuers on the scene, along with multiple helicopters flying around them, which only further kept their faith alive. But tragically, this was all a cruel facade. Internally, fire crews were told not to go past the 12th floor shortly after Ranya's stream ended. It was just too dangerous. And as for the helicopters, well, those trapped inside would have had no idea that those were actually just police helicopters, merely used for surveillance. They weren't even equipped for rescue, nor were they ever considered to be used for that, as getting too close would have blown more air on the fire and made the blaze even worse, meaning that those helicopters offered them no chance at survival. They were entirely on their own, leading to authorities finally telling them to try and escape by themselves. But by this point, there was no point. This was 2 hours after the fire had started, and an hour after Ranya's stream. The fire had completely taken over the structure, and inside there was only one single stairway, a stairway that was now impossible to safely traverse for anyone on the higher floors. Even attempting it would have been a death sentence. The orders for them to shelter in place had cost them valuable time, and in turn, any chance at leaving while they could, and it was all for a rescue that was now impossible, leaving them completely trapped. Rania, Fethia, Hanya, and everyone else shown in this livestream would perish in what we now know today as the Grenfell Tower Fire, a fire that claimed the lives of 72 people in one of the worst fire tragedies in Europe's history.
This is why you are never supposed to stay put. Why was that an ordinance that they put in place? That is the dumbest thing known to mankind. The big thing you never do in a fire is remain in the building. Ever. Like, even if people are toppling over each other, there are chances that that still would create less of a hazard than staying put in the building would. Like, there is no, okay, I'm just gonna see what happens. No, you break down a wall, you break down a floor, you do what you need to do. You don't fucking stay put. Like, holy shit. What's even more wild is, what it's saying is that the freaking outside walls, the exterior walls of the actual structure caught fire exponentially quick. Which rubs me in a wrong way for a lot of reasons, because that would imply that either one, the exterior walls were covered in something that was inherently flammable, whether it was a cleaning product that might have been used within the week that just hasn't fully worn off, or two, the exterior was made of flammable material, which means it doesn't matter what the core structure of the building is made of. It doesn't matter if it's concrete, it doesn't matter if it's wood. That's going up in flames, and none of that's going to get remotely contained. All it takes for a fire to start is for it to reach the burning point of a material. It doesn't even have to be ignited. It just has to reach that temperature. And considering that most fire, especially when contained in a cusp like that, where it's going to basically act as a furnace, that burning point grows really quickly. And most building materials cannot withstand, I want to say 170 degrees Celsius? You were doomed the second that they decided that was the best, way to go about things. I'm just, what the fuck, man? What the fuck?
Many large-scale tragedies on the
Holy shit.
Few have been more preventable than this one. The Grenfell Tower was built back in 1974, and around the 2010s, its concrete exterior was beginning to look outdated in an area that was experiencing a wave of modernization. The neighborhood was becoming trendier and wealthier, and the tower was becoming an eyesore to some. And so the decision was made by the Kensington and Chelsea Tenant Management Organization, along with the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, to refurbish the exterior by adding new siding known as cladding to give it a more modern appeal. It was purely aesthetic, but its effects were horrific. The cladding was created by a company called Arconic, which had tested it numerous times to see how it held up to fire, and the results were awful. Their ACM cladding received a grading of F, with it being apparent that it was extremely flammable, with some likening it to gasoline due to how quickly it would erupt into flames.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? It would have had to have been extremely flammable. What did I tell you? I called it from a mile away. At the rate that that shit burned. Fucking hell, man.
While also producing 3 times the amount of smoke as usual fires. But despite having these test scores and even acknowledging multiple emails sent throughout the company, notoriously following up their F score with the line, "Oops," they not only refused to fix the problem, but they also kept selling it, with one of their clients being the group working on the Grenfell Tower refurbishment. And it wasn't even a secret either. Those in charge of the project wanted it done as cheaply as possible, and this ACM cladding was as cheap as it got, and so they chose it despite knowing the fire risk. And worst of all, they had the opportunity to buy a version of this product that was actually flame retardant, but they opted for the cheaper, more dangerous product, which in the end only saved them about £5,000, or roughly $6,500 USD. Arconic knowingly sold this flammable product. The companies working on the Grenfell Tower refurbishment
They
bought the flammable product.
Everyone is an accomplice in this.
That they all should have seen coming.
Let's think with
When you
Hydrate.
Couple this with the flawed orders to shelter in place, and the fact that there was only one stairwell, it was a recipe for disaster. This was always going to happen. This was a failure on so many levels for so many parties, and it all traces back to...
Hold on. Am I about to give the US fucking credit? What? Hold on. Am I about to give the United motherfucking States, you know, the same one that's been known for some of the most abhorrent crimes in all of humanity, credit? In safety, nonetheless. If I am not mistaken, most jurisdictions have a building code that require you, and I mean require you, to have more than one stairwell. And usually, despite the 2 stairwells, there has to be a third that specifically acts as a fire escape, on top of the factor that the building has to have an elevator, specifically for the disabled. How in the actual fuck was a building from 1973 allowed to continue to operate without a second fucking stairwell? What the actual fuck? Holy shit, like, from any, and I mean any conceivable standpoint, if you went into a building and you see that there is only one primary stairwell, there's no external escape routes, nothing. If that is the thing that you spot, you probably shouldn't stay in that building for more than 30 minutes to an hour at a time. Considering that. Additionally, another thing that I'm going to note, most products also in the US safety-wise, if it is that heavily or if it is that combustible, that's the word I'm looking for. If it is that overtly combustible, you're not allowed to sell it. That you can't sell it. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule, because, like, for instance, wood and timber are a prime resource in construction. You can't really prevent those from, you know, not being flame retardant. But, like, when it comes to scaffolding, or roofing, or tiling, or, fucking insulation, they have to have a certain flame retardant compatibility for you to be able to use it, especially in large-scale buildings. Nobody involved in this. Not from the company that manufactured the tiles, not from the management company themselves, the fucking government, who very clearly didn't enforce a fucking strict code for safety. Oh! And the factor that the fire system that might have been or may not have been in this building, because heaven forbid that there was or wasn't one if it was built in 73, either didn't function properly or at least not well enough. My point is that every bit of this tragedy is conceivably the most preventable thing to have ever occurred in my recent knowledge. And the factor that it was all in a failure from a federal level before it even reached a management level, let alone a construction level. What the fuck? Yeah, most US states require a functional fire system to be readily available on top of fire extinguishers. Often than not, there's even some states that will require you to have a fire extinguisher in every single apartment. And it is almost a damn requirement. Hell, I'm actually pretty sure you're supposed to. Speaking of which, I should probably have one for myself, but not the point. I'm just... I know... if I'm not mistaken, I believe places like London do have that ordinance. So oh my fucking god.
Greed and the value of money over the lives of innocent people like Rania and her children. Despite the fire starting 8 years ago, justice has yet to be served, as investigations are still ongoing to this day, leading to an agonizing wait for all those who lost loved ones in the blaze, with the trials themselves not expected to start for
holy
another
fucking shit, man. The stay put policy remains in effect. Oh! What the fuck do you mean it's still in effect? You know, I'm just play the video, just play the video, just play the video, just play the video. There were still thousands of residential buildings in the UK were white with flammable ACM cladding.
It was the
I
usual
swear to
start to the
fucking
day
God.
for Rhoda McFarlane, the 42-year-old manager of the Lane
Looks at the
Bryant
3 fire
store
extinguishers in
Tinley
my house,
Park
one in my
Illinois,
garage, one in
was
your
no
kitchen, one in
stranger
your
to these
backyard.
sales.
Those are good spots to have it.
Lane Bryant had a habit of launching monthly clearance events, sending out flyers and airing commercials in the days and weeks before to let all of their customers know. And this day, February 2nd, 2008, was yet another one of these sales. She knew it would be a busy day, and potentially a stressful one for one of her employees, as that morning only one worker was scheduled to open the store, something that Rhoda disagreed with, leading to her coming in to help, even though she had the day off. But like I said, this was a typical morning for her, as this was just the kind of person she was, always willing and wanting to help others. And as she clocked in for work that morning at 10 a.m., she and her coworker braced for a potential rush of excited shoppers. The rush, however, wasn't as dramatic as they may have expected, and in the first 15 minutes or so of opening, only 5 people had entered the store, 4 of which were female shoppers looking for some deals, while the 5th was a delivery man who walked in holding a stack of papers. The man approached them and made casual conversation, but after a few minutes had passed, he kind of just lingered around, never actually delivering anything, which Rhoda found strange, especially considering that it was Saturday, a day that they typically didn't receive packages. Growing more and more suspicious by the minute, Rhoda quietly placed a call to a nearby Lane Bryant store, who confirmed to her that there was in fact nothing scheduled to be dropped off that day. But before she could even process this information, an incident was already unfolding around her. Out of nowhere, the delivery man pulled out a pistol and pointed it at the women, yelling at them to hand over the money from the register, before proceeding to round up Rhoda, her employee, and the 4 women shopping, demanding that they all give up their cash and jewelry. After he was satisfied with the collection, he forced the women to the back of the store, where one by one he bound them with duct tape, placing them each face down on the floor, and putting underwear over their heads to obstruct their view. In the minutes following, he would venture back out into the store where 2 other women had entered, and they too were then robbed and then forced into the back room, where they were eventually subdued, but not before he struck one of them in the face with his pistol, nearly knocking her unconscious. It appeared to be a fairly high-level robbery, but after he now had them all in the back room, the whole operation seemed to grind to a halt. It was like he didn't know what to do next, as he started pacing the room and slowly losing his cool. The minutes ticked on, and the more time that passed, the more agitated he became. It was clear that the pressure was getting to him, and sensing his disorganization, Rhoda seized the opportunity, quietly slipping her hand free, allowing her to call 911 through her Bluetooth headset.
911 emergency. We're at.
Despite the man being in the room with her,
Oh my God.
Rhoda managed to alert authorities to her exact location, telling them to hurry and making it clear that the situation was urgent. In the background, you can also hear the robber himself, whose disheveled
What's it
state
about?
is apparent
It's
as
just
he
a series of
outwardly
like
states
real life horror events, or horrifying
the
events, I
operator
should
was
say.
on it, quickly dialing dispatch and telling Rhoda not to hang up.
Stay on the line. Let me get you to Tinley Park. Don't hang up.
Though within just a split second, the call disconnected. by some stroke of good fortune, there was actually an officer in that shopping center only about 100 feet away, and from the time that Rhoda made that call, the officer managed to arrive on the scene within just a few minutes. He rushed inside the store, but inside he found nothing, until he made his way over to that back room. Inside, he would find them. 6 women with underwear over their heads, lying on the floor, each one having been shot execution style just seconds after Rhoda's 911 call. It was a mass murder, but in the midst of this awful scene, one thing was missing: the killer himself. And so authorities flooded the area, scanning and searching all over for the gunman, who was described as a black man with a husky build and a single braid that fell to his right cheek that ended in green beads. And the reason they knew exactly what he looked like wasn't because of security footage, as at the time the store didn't even have any CCTV cameras.
What?
But instead, it was because one of the women actually survived. When the man began his executions, he moved his way over to the employee that Rhoda came in to help, and when he fired his gun, she moved at just the right moment, causing the bullet to graze her neck, to which she proceeded to then play dead so that the man wouldn't notice. And thankfully, he didn't. Her testimony is the reason why we know exactly what this man looks like, and why we know what those moments were like before the shooting. But despite this, after doing a thorough search of the area, even utilizing a helicopter, there was no trace of the killer. CCTV footage from a neighboring store showed that just before Rhoda made that call to 911, 2 large SUVs pulled up in front of the building, right after the shooting likely occurred. It's believed that both of these SUVs were involved in some way, with one potentially being a lookout and the other likely being the getaway car, explaining how he would have gotten away so quickly. Not to mention that the store was located right near the entrance of an interstate, which could have taken them out of the state extremely quickly. That was 18 years ago, and today neither the shooter nor the drivers have ever been identified, marking a rare instance in which a mass shooting in America went unsolved, leaving us with so many unanswered questions to this day.
Well, yeah,
with one of the
'cause
biggest being the motive.
Most mass shootings involve the killer knowing that they're not planning to get out.
But why
Getting,
Bryant?
not planning
Why
to,
come in the morning when there was
you know,
next to no
leave
cash
at
in the
all.
register? I mean, in total, the killer only made off with about $200, and that's including the cash he stole from the women. One of the main theories today is that the killer had planned on taking customers hostage as they entered the store, but perhaps he grew frustrated at the lack of customers that day, until he eventually noticed that Rhoda was making a 911 call, which caused him to panic and start shooting. But what always gets me about this is that he never covered his face at any point, which makes me wonder if he was planning on killing these women all along. Though if that's true, how could this ever have been worth it? Due to just how bizarre this whole situation is, some have posed other theories, like perhaps this was someone with a drug addiction who was looking for quick cash to get his next fix, perhaps explaining his rapidly deteriorating behavior, or even that the suspect was actually a woman who never got caught because police were primarily looking for a male. But it's impossible to know for sure at the moment, and might not ever be known, as despite having survivor testimony, an exact description of this man's face and body, his voice, and even his DNA, which was discovered under one of the victim's fingernails, we still have no idea who this man is, or where he went.
Damn. It gets tense. Some of these videos get tense, and it's literally because you don't expect the horrors of mankind to be kind of shoved in your face until they are. But hot damn. Hot damn. I think this will be the last video of the night, and it's a video by one of my favorite horror creators, Nightmind. So I'm looking forward to this one. Also, Ella's messaging me. What's up, bud?
Have you ever gone to a garage sale?
Let's go!
Or some manner of thrift store? How about anywhere containing today's major finds for the internet horror crowd? Old videotapes. A certain allure exists around these locations, and they are treasure troves of old media. Analog media in its truest popular form, getting rarer by the day. There's an excitement that comes from looking through old boxes, thinking of the tales on tape that may be inside. An idea that kicks off
What
tonight's
happened?
story.
So he's watching Good Mythical Morning episode in which Rhett and Link are trying to eat a lasagna blindfolded.
The thrift store is a project that landed in my suggestions one night and immediately caught my attention.
It's just really funny.
It seems to be doing excellent in random
because
recommendations
I forget that
too.
he likes watching Good Mythical Morning.
A very healthy early audience, and for a promising new project with a different tone than much of what we see in VHS stories. Text features rather prominently so far, and the About section gives us an immediate premise.
That episode, I think that was Friday's episode, if I'm not mistaken.
And I'm a collector. My hobby began in high school when I got into collecting
Wednesdays,
Magic the
okay.
Gathering cards, and now I collect all sorts of things. I've
I
recently been
got
working
it.
on a VHS tape collection, which I'm very proud of,
Up
but I
on
didn't get around to
GM.
buying an actual VCR until recently. They're
I
pretty hard to come
am
by,
way
surprisingly.
behind.
Now that I can watch the tapes I've accumulated, I found that lots of them contain some pretty freaky stuff.
Also, it is true. Like when I bought my hold on.
Majority have no
Hold on.
labels.
When I bought my VHC camcorders, they came with a couple of tapes, and those tapes were already recorded on. And you get to see some interesting stuff. Like I think one of them contained a distorted wedding that you could get blips of, and the other one I think was someone's Christmas. It's interesting to look through. It's interesting to look through.
This channel is my way of cataloging these strange home videos in the hopes that their contents might provide some evidence of the paranormal. Hope you enjoy. It's a great tease for a potential anthology, and with Ben's first upload clocking in just past 13 minutes on Halloween this year, it sweetens the horror anthology scent in the air. Now, naturally, I'd like you to go watch the first few videos that exist right now in their original location on the channel, tapes I found at the thrift store. If you're on a device to allow it, also check out the posts. Those are involved in the storytelling. I'll cover those when you're back if you can't, however. The link to a playlist is in the video description below, so visit that first. And when you're done...
He wants me to visit that first. I thought this was going to be the last video. God damn it, Nightmind. You furry ass fucking... God damn it. All right, fine. We can watch these.
Alloy Creek finds itself divided after the suicide of controversial political advocate Arthur Lincoln. While some attend silent vigils honoring his legacy, others host block parties in morbid celebration. One sentiment shared between all residents, however, a love of antiques. Admirers and opponents alike clamor to bring home a piece of history as an estate sale is being held at the late philanthropist's luxury home in the Pines this weekend. Here's Ronald Gophers to tell us more about what you'll find for sale.
Hello, I am Ronald Gopher. I am an estate liquidator here in Alloy Creek, and I have recently been awarded the absolute pleasure of discovering just how eclectic Mr. Langan was in his lifetime. In the
Hello.
past 3 days,
Welcome on in.
I've been combing through piles of dust and debris. And what I'm sure was at one point a beautiful home, one of many.
Hey, thank you for the follow.
Mr. Langan irreparably soiled in his lifetime. But enough about me. Let us see what we have for sale here today. We've got all sorts of old film equipment, cameras, projectors, unmarked reels. I'm sure you'll
I'm
find
from
some real
Chinese.
interesting home videos on there. That was a joke, of course. But in all seriousness, we have not screened.
Wait, I think you meant to say you're Mandarin Chinese?
Responsibility for whatever might be on them.
Ooh, wait, hold on.
Paintings, some vintage newspapers, maps of the local area, lots of those, actually. Popcorn machine, big surprise, doesn't work. That one I did test. Books,
Either way, you're welcome on in. Hopefully you're doing well.
questionable titles. Prize of the weekend for me, at least, this suitcase which was found at the scene of Arthur.
Oh!
Pretty neat.
Mauritius is an island of Indian or are in the Indian Ocean over by East Africa. I'm Chinese, so my family's from Hong Kong. That makes so much more sense. Okay.
Was one top
That actually gives the context.
and it's already sold. We do, however, have a great deal of dolls, and began to wonder at one point whether Langan was turning all those kids he kidnapped into dolls with how many.
Yeah, I am from the U.S.
Issue there with Ronald,
Unfortunately.
but we've got some great items here in the greenhouse.
Either way, you're welcome on in, and I've never heard of that island, so I will have to look into it. Sounds interesting.
You have to buy both of them. We've got well, actually, I don't know what that is.
I think it's a thread spinner.
There's a hookah machine. Let's Oh well, thank you, Ronald Gopher, for showing us around the estate sale and for giving us a unique.
Have you went outside the U.S. before?
Mr. Lincoln's
God, I wish.
character.
I have a lot of places I'd like to visit.
Let's see what some of the patrons of the estate sale think of their finds.
I came here to purchase some of Mr. Langan's hats, and a very rude man with a clipboard said that they only had one, mind you, top hat left. So, of course, I put in a bid for it. But he wouldn't budge on the price. Are you kidding me?
Got a new top hat. Pretty cheap, too. A lot less than I was expecting. Not really much of a hat guy, but pretty excited to try something new.
Arthur Langan.
What the fuck?
As far as I'm concerned, every item in that house is desecrated objects, and whoever leaves with one is inviting evil into their homes.
Did you buy something? Hey, get the fucking name right! Ronald Gopher, why did we run this segment?
Thanks again, Ronald Gopher.
But yeah, no. I would like to be outside the U.S. I want to especially go visit Japan. It's on, like, one of my highest lists. A priority.
I adjusted these little points here.
Also, what the hell?
On either side. They didn't exactly match
You want to go to Ireland? Ireland would also be a really nice spot. I really just want to get into, like, an open, calm area. New Zealand's another place I want to go. Australia. I'd like to go to Germany. Ukraine, if it hopefully survives everything that's been happening. I think the UK could be fun. Canada. Greenland could be fun. I really want to go to Denmark. Denmark's another spot that would be interesting to go to. I would also add Hong Kong to the list if it weren't for the factor of the crap that's been happening with the fucking Chinese government and them constantly oppressing the people. That's like the only reason I don't really want to go into mainland China. Even though I do find a slight interest in some of the cultural aspects.
If anyone is in this room with me, please offer me a sign.
Candles out.
If anyone is in this room with me,
Sure about the China population scandal?
blow
What?
out the candle in the corner of the room.
If nothing else, yeah, I just want to get the fuck out of the U.S.
If anyone
So what are you talking about, a China population scandal? What the fuck? Just took me, Chief, but look it up. Not you using the Chief line against me. That's my thing. Chief and Cap'n. I really like just saying, aye, Cap'n. With stuff. Sometimes I think it's fun.
Is this still on? How do I even tell? Okay, didn't touch it. Well, not sure what I did wrong. I tried literally a dozen fixes today, so whatever it is I'm doing wrong, if it's something here, I'm going to bleed out before I get it right, and if it's something here with my diction, I'm gonna lose my voice before I get it right. Yeah, I don't know what to do at this point because
Rapid aging, declining birth rate, shrinking workforce, and of course the one-child policy. Ugh.
what to change. I don't know what to fix.
Also, rapid aging, really?
Do stop right now.
Typically, Asian people tend to age a lot less than people of other ethnic backgrounds. That's kind of surprising to me.
There is something
As for the declining birth rates, yeah, that makes sense.
here fighting to get out, and I just don't know how to get it out. So I think I'm just gonna keep banging my head against this wall, cause I think I'm in too deep.
On paper, returning 18 now becoming. That actually doesn't surprise me though. Like that could be something else because in terms of like not becoming a taxpayer, a lot of them live off the grid. Like, there's a lot of people who live off the grid. Also, people turning 18 who literally live in the slums. They wouldn't be able to be a taxpayer. There's no mailbox to receive tax forms. Jesus Christ. China is literally one of the ones I don't want to visit. I will... Hold on. Hold that thought.
Why can't I hear anything? What the fuck?
Anyways, while we're watching this.
Hello? Hello? Please, please.
Oh. Jesus Christ. Isn't that fucked up? But yeah, no,
Alright. Hi, everyone. I'm Ben. I'm the eye in the tapes I found at the thrift store. I just wanted to pop on here and say hello. You know, put a face to the name, since the channel's been taking off way faster than I thought. Yeah, so I originally just started this channel as a way to sort of collect my VHS tapes and archive them for me and my friends, so I never expected to get 1,000 subscribers in a month, of all things. I usually find most of the tapes at the thrift store, right, as the channel name would imply. Sometimes I get them from friends. If you're lucky, you can find them at flea markets.
I'm getting distracted. What was I saying? Free Hong Kong.
You take what you can get sometimes. The reason why I do.
But also, it's the only reason I'm making a distinction between Hong Kong and China, because I firmly believe that Hong Kong's population and culture is predominantly and historically always going to be different from China, and the fact that mainland China consistently tries to overwhelm and
but it just feels like a little adventure.
Undermine the people of Hong Kong. Pisses me off.
I guess I could segue into where I'm from.
Absolutely. It's really unfortunate.
The heart of the Pine Barrens.
But it just really pisses me off. But that's the only reason I won't go into like mainland China.
Are familiar with the Pine Barrens and all the legends surrounding it. And Alloy is kind of like the poster child for life in the
Like the few places I absolutely refuse to visit are as follows, from the top being currently most undesired to least to like and that would be North Korea, Israel, Russia,
then you'll know the legend of the Blue Hole.
and then I want to say
Barrens, that's totally bright blue, as the name would imply.
Not
Most
Iraq.
bodies of water in the pines are either
Maybe
murky
Iraq.
brown or like
No,
a red,
I'm thinking
cedary
Saudi
color.
Arabia. Saudi Arabia.
But the Blue Hole just looks like
Just because of
beautiful
everything regarding what's happening over there.
Like super pretty.
You're
never supposed
and then
to
the
swim
final
in the
one
Blue Hole
is
because
China.
it said that it's
Those are like the 5
and
I won't
every
visit.
now and again, unexplained whirlpools will drag people to the bottom.
But most of the
Alloy
places
Creek,
I'd
the
be
actual
fine being
creek
like,
the
oh,
town
this
is
is
named
interesting.
for flows out of the Blue Hole. So we weren't allowed to drink or swim in the water from the creek either. Locals take that super seriously. When I was younger, my friends dared me to drink the water out of the creek, and not wanting to look like a wimp, I did it. There's definitely something not right about the water. It had the consistency of that thick water they sell at some stores. Have you guys ever seen that? Yeah, it was. Yeah, not recommended. The Blue Hole is only the tip of the iceberg, though. Alloy has ties to all
Ancient
sorts
Eastern
of
architecture and
legends
history.
and
I would
cryptids
like to
like
check
the
out
Dirty Devil,
Egypt.
of course. You
That's
know,
another
Bigfoot,
one I really think would be
bunch of
interesting.
UFO sightings. You know, there's even an infamous report of an encounter with the Mothman down by the creek. I guess cryptids like thick water. I don't know. I've always been more of a skeptic. You know, I like to think I'm a pretty rational thinker, but a lot of the tapes I've found from the area have just really weird stuff on. Of course, the majority of them are either a child pointing the camera at the ground or grandma's 89th birthday party.
And the history is Russia. What? Oh no. The thing is, Russia in general is an interesting split, regardless of what time period, because like there are Chinese Russians. Like there are Chinese or Asian individuals who speak Russian fluently, and then vice versa. There are Russian individuals that speak Chinese over in the eastern or southeastern part of Russia, which I think is really interesting. And it's a subculture that not many people actually refer to or talk about, and I think it's a damn shame because that area seems to be like really rich and vibrant with a lot of different perceptions on things. So,
like the estate sale one, I'm sure you've all already seen. So, with all that being said, I think my plan with the channel going forward is to use it to sort of comb through these tapes and eventually build a catalog of evidence to support the claim that Alloway Creek, New Jersey is the weirdest town in America. I'm really happy you're all here, and I'm really glad that you get to join me on this journey. I should probably update you on the status of my VHS player. So some of you might already know this, but one of my blank tapes actually exploded into this purplish glob that smelled like chocolate when I tried to play it in my VHS player. So that was a whole big thing. I won't get into it now, but you can read that whole story on the community tab. So long story short, the VCR has been busted since that whole ordeal, but luckily a guy I graduated high school with, Carlisle, is actually going to be able to fix it for me. I met up with him last week when I was home for Thanksgiving, and I handed it off to him. Carlisle told me it might take a few weeks.
I don't know
because
how a
the
VHS
inside
explodes.
still
I don't want to
smells
know.
so thick of chocolate, so he thinks there might be some internal damage that he'll have to order in parts for. I will make sure to update you guys as Carlisle updates me, but I guess while I'm on the topic,
This guy's kinda
might as
chill.
well update you guys on
I like
the
him.
status of the blob itself. After the thing exploded the VCR, I buried the blob out in the woods. I thought it might be acidic or poisonous, and that throwing it out would be disposing of hazardous material in like an improper place, and I would get arrested or something. I mean, this all happened at 3 in the morning, so I hope you can understand I wasn't really thinking.
I mean, look it up.
Anyway,
I just see if
buried
it's
it
even
way
something
out
that
in
can
the woods,
actually happen.
and a lot of you
Not in that capacity of what
called me
like
out for that,
he's talking
and
about, but you know.
suggested I should go back and take a look. So last week I went out and hiked out there. I guess I'll just play the video now. This is the exact spot where it was, and it's not there anymore. When I left, this hole was completely filled over with dirt, but when I came back to check on it, it was all dug up, and all that was left were the 2 spools. I saw some deer tracks and what I think were raccoon tracks in the area around it, so I think maybe they might have smelled the chocolate and dug it up to eat it. But I don't think deer eat chocolate, but if it was a
Burn, yes,
raccoon,
explode, hell no. Yeah, I was about to say. I don't believe it actually happens.
ate it. But yeah, I just really wanted to be, completely transparent about that whole situation, especially since I was getting a lot of comments about it. I really hope that no animals did eat it. But if they did, I would, hope they would get like superpowers and hopefully not like, cancer.
That's the look of a man who knows he's fucked up. Oh God.
With me, I'm just endlessly excited to get into the rest of these tapes with you guys when I can. So really, I think that's about it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great night.
Hey guys, I actually was gonna make a community post about this, but I thought maybe a video would spread a little better. So Carlisle has been missing for a little while now. He left home and left a note behind, basically saying that he left, by his own will. So since he's an adult and that note was found, the police said they really can't do much about it. So I just thought maybe I could make this video and just get the word out a little bit better. So if you see this person and you're in the New Jersey area, please let me know.
Crix, why do I smell ARG?
Relay that to
no
his
idea.
family. He's 24, about 5'10".
I wonder if
with
that number works.
Brown hair and brown eyes. I think he was.
Hold on, it would be really weird for that to be shown in full in that capacity without it being legit. The fuck kind of noise was that outside? I'm already a little freaked. Come on, man. All right, let's see. What do we got? All right, I'm bringing it up. It's an actual New Jersey number. Hold on.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again. 070T. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check.
070T? Let me put a 1 in the front of it.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again.
Interesting. Yeah, so no, it doesn't appear to be an active number. But, you know.
A camo hoodie and some dark sweatpants. Carlisle, if you're seeing this, please just reach out to anyone. I really just cherish the time that we had to spend with each other this past month. And, you know, we're all really worried about you. So if, you know, if anyone can help out, please, reach out to me and I'll do my best to.
He's got like a
share it
dirty
with
blonde hair.
Whoever needs to hear it. So thank you guys. Hopefully I'll have some good updates for you soon. Thank you.
Oh god, it's the cookie cutter houses. Yeah, spooky shit. Just watching spooky shit. Let's welcome on in. I mean, night walks are nice. Just make sure you're staying safe. That's all that's important. It's that fucking goop again. Ooh.
Sandy, if you find this, don't come looking for me. Just keep the tape safe. I don't hear them.
What are you doing? My guy, he's dead. He's gone. If this is who I think it is. I think this is the friend that went missing. Also, word of advice for anyone, if you ever have a wound, like so let's say you get an arrow to anything, or you get stabbed, or you have a bullet that's sticking out of your shoulder, don't remove it. Wait until you get to a fucking hospital. Dear God. All right, we'll do one more video. What's this?
If you grew up with a computer, especially in the early 2000s, then you're probably familiar with Roblox, the online platform where anyone can make a game. But what if someone chose to make a game specifically about you, revealing details like pictures of your face or even where you live? Well, for a woman online named Sarah, this would actually happen. In today's video, I'll be telling you the story of someone who used Roblox not for creativity or entertainment, but instead to document their real-life obsession with a singular person. This is the story of Sarah's house, Roblox's most horrific tycoon. Tycoon games have always been pretty popular on Roblox, with the genre still being relevant today. For those of you unaware, a tycoon is essentially just a game where you collect money to accomplish some sort of goal. Usually this is done with droppers that generate cash, which allow you to either upgrade your base or build up your revenue. Evidently, most tycoons are not considered horror games, with the vast majority actually being the opposite of scary. However, this would change with one tycoon released in 2014 that actually flew under the radar of most users. The game, as I mentioned earlier, was titled Sarah's House. Now, what exactly makes this game different from the others? At first, nothing really jumps out. You spawn into a classroom displaying some rules for the tycoon. These consist of take the game seriously, do not share what you've seen, and finally, do not type Sarah. Well, in order to actually start the tycoon, you have to exit the classroom and enter the neighborhood, where you claim a spot and begin making progress on building Sarah's house. You can buy her walls, her furniture, and even her car, which weirdly enough has someone hiding under it. This character will be important later, but first we have to go back to the school. If you venture behind the gym, you'll find what looks to be a locked dumpster. By turning on your game audio and listening closely, you can actually hear the subtle sound of someone banging. The next detail worth mentioning here can be spotted by the rules we saw earlier in Spawn, specifically with the rule that says do not type Sarah. If you decide to break this rule, your player is teleported to a dark room with the date June 2nd written all over the walls. In front of you is the character we saw earlier under the car, but this time holding a shotgun.
What the fuck?
The creepiest part about this is when you walk up to the man, the face of a real woman covers your screen, with a gun firing in the background and your player being kicked from the game. If you're not familiar with Roblox, one of their major rules for developing games is that users are never allowed to upload an image of someone's real face. Doing this will typically result in the model being deleted, or in some cases your account even getting banned. Either way, the fact that this account was able to get past this rule and create this scene is incredibly strange. Returning back to the tycoon itself, the next secret can be found by collecting the rest of the house. After buying all 3 droppers and saving up your money, you can head to the backyard and purchase the most expensive item in the game, that being the shed. At first, nothing really looks out of place until you start to drag your mouse across the screen and notice an icon indicating some kind of button. You click on the button, and that's when your character is teleported to the real contents of the room. Inside of the shed, we'll find several pictures, many of which are the same face we saw earlier, but this time labeled as yearbook photo. We also have some new photos where the Roblox character we've been seeing is placed somewhere in real life. Finally, in the background, we can hear some kind of weird noise, along with the option to grab a key. The shed is honestly one of the most important parts of the tycoon, not because of the creepy photos, but because of what they implicate. The first thing we figured out
They
is
implicate that the guy stalked her and then shoved her in the dumpster.
And who do you think that picture belongs to? Another detail that's revealed from the shed is this weird presence of the Roblox character we've been seeing throughout the game. It's my belief that this character is supposed to represent the developer himself, and in the photo he's posted with, we see him standing next to Sarah's actual shed. Now, when I mentioned a weird sound playing in the background, some of you might have caught on and could see where I'm going. By downloading the isolated sound and placing it into a software like Audacity, we can actually visualize the audio in something called a spectrogram.
The way this video is edited is super nice, by the way.
Which is the photo of a shed, along with the text, North Carolina, written next to it. This audio pretty much confirms the theory that Sarah and her house are real, and that the person responsible for this game, represented by the man under the car or with the gun, has some kind of real-life obsession with her. It's important to note that this version of Sarah's house is a re-upload of the original with copy lock disabled. What that means is that we can actually download the game files for ourselves and take a look behind the scenes. Interestingly enough, I actually missed something when I was talking about the no typing Sarah rule. If you take a look at the board, for a brief moment an image will appear next to it that looks to be a box with an arrow pointing under. By typing Sarah and teleporting to the room we saw earlier, you can actually go backwards to prevent the cutscene that kicks you from the game, where instead you'll walk through this corner wall and jump over to a translucent bridge that returns you back to the main map. With all of that, we can finally connect the main 3 secrets of the game. First, buy the shed and teleport to the room holding the key. It's important that you type Sarah in order to teleport back to the room that kicks you. The next step is to no-clip out of this room onto the translucent bridge we saw earlier on the board. By standing still, the platform will eventually return you back into the main map. Finally, with the key in hand, walk to the back of the school and unlock the dumpster. By doing this, your character will begin to float over what appears to be Sarah's head, along with the address on screen, otherwise known as the address for a landfill in North Carolina. Finally, the game will close the server, along with the message, by the time you're reading this, it'll be too late. Sarah's house is a tycoon created by someone on the internet documenting their horrifying obsession with a woman who may not even be aware they have a stalker in the first place. However, the good news is that nothing has actually appeared to correlate with this story in the real world. There is an argument to be made that Sarah and the developer could go to school together, evident by the 2 seats missing in the spawn classroom, potentially hinting at them being in the same class together. However, thankfully to my knowledge, there haven't been any real-world connections that accurately follow this game enough to really warrant any serious concern. Today, years have passed since the original upload of Sarah's house, with the game still living on through new, temporary owners. If you'd like to visit the Tycoon for yourself, or even download a version to mess around with, I'll place a link to the newest upload in the description. I can't imagine they'll be up for long, but who knows with everything going on with Roblox right now. Anyway, thank you to those who've supported.
Wait, this is actually a real thing? Hold on, this is actually fucking real?
Share your findings in the comments below.
First off, that is actually genuinely fucking horrifying. Huh. Huh. It is real. That's insane. Honestly, that's a pretty big highlight to stop on tonight. Like, that is... First off, this creator's editing is fantastic. Holy shit. Like, let me just get that out of the fucking way, okay? I love the way that the editing is done. They're smaller, short, horror-oriented videos. I would love to go through these at some point. And, yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I've had an absolute blast, as always. And if you like what you saw, !socials. Let me get over here to this. And then join the Discord if you're not in there already. I didn't even spell socials right. There we go. Alright, let's actually raid out. Let's see what we can do. Hold on. Didn't catch it in time. Let's see, who's all live? A lot of people, actually. I see that Kaji's live, so we're gonna go raid Kaji. Haven't seen Teach in a while. Alright. go and say hi to the takoyaki for me. I need to go get some sleep and get ready for bed. So I love you guys. Please take it easy. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.